Hello everyone, welcome and welcome back to my channel. This is Hazel Lucia Tarot. I am your tarot reader Stephanie, and today's reading is about how people view you, how they perceive you, first impressions, and any thoughts they may have upon first meeting you. We have 5 piles here for you today. Pile 1, we have garnet. Pile 2, we have lepidolite. Pile 3, we have the red calcite. I don't know why I forgot its name for a moment. Pile 4, we have amethyst, and pile 5, we have rose quartz. So take a few deep breaths, let the light in, let some good open heart messages come in about how people perceive you, and I'll be ready for your reading whenever you are. Hi there, pile 1. If you chose Isis and this garnet palm stone, then we have a reading here for you about what people think about you, what your first impressions are, or their first impressions are, and anything else that might be coming forward. So you chose the goddess Isis, goddess of magic. Sexual energy is sacred. My pleasure is a prayer that brings me back to life. So I was getting a few things from this. The first and foremost is that you do a lot for people. Isis is the goddess that brought back Osiris from the dead, and she had to do this by picking up his pieces and literally putting him back together. So I feel like you're somebody who really does a lot for people. Whether you realize this or not, and I'm not trying to make this a good or a bad thing, it's just more that whatever you do, you put a lot of yourself into it and you put a lot of energy into it. I feel like you're just rather intense. Like, this is just how you operate, regardless of what the situation may be. You do a lot for people. And another thing I was picking up was just you have a very sensual energy, and especially when it comes to like either the people that you date or the lovers or past lovers that you've had, even their families and friends included, they understand and know that there's a very sensual energy to you. Whether it's very understated, it might just be a very subtle thing, like they just know that, you're somebody who's very physically appealing, or it could be a little bit more in your face. I think it all depends. There's a spectrum, but it's undeniable that it's there, that people understand that you are an attractive person, and it makes sense to whomever it is that you are with, that why they are with you, essentially why they find you physically appealing. It's a combination of both of these things. So I'm getting very strong Queen of Wands energy here, like a very, if not mature, then definitely very physically appealing, maybe a combination of both of those energies. Interesting that I said mature, because Queen of Wands isn't always mature. It's just very, very in your face about it. But for some of you, it's not overly, like, it's not so in your face, it's just subtly there and hard to ignore. And then for some of you, it will be very much apparent how you come off to people. But let's go ahead and get the rest of your cards to see how people view you. And if you don't resonate with some of these, remember, these are just people's opinions. This is just how they view you, even if you yourself may not view yourself this way. Especially for those of you who come from like very different cultural or maybe ethnic backgrounds to the people you are typically around. I'm getting that strongly here in this pile. So let's go ahead and get the rest of your cards, your destiny cards. We have release. There's something, I'm hearing autumnal about you. Maybe you just give fall vibes, whether that's in your appearance. Maybe you identify with like what's it called? The seasonal type of autumn, like certain colors just look good on you. Or maybe you were born in the fall. But there's also something here about not being afraid to let go, or not being afraid to change. You're not afraid of changes, and people really do recognize this about you, especially if every time they see you, you're up to something new or you're up to something different. Let's go ahead and get the rest of your cards. Like, yes, you got very fearless energy. Like, people see you as very fearless, but also very grounded, because you got the garnet stone. And garnet is, to me, one of the most grounded stones out there. For pile 1, we have mediator. Light attributes: gift for negotiating fairness and strategy in personal and professional life. Respect for both sides of an argument. Shadow attribute: negotiating with an ulterior motive or hidden agenda, either personally or professionally. So some of you could literally have a job where you are some type of mediator, whether it's your job to actually come to some agreement between two parties or to mediate certain things. Another way I'm seeing this, though, is that you're a very fair person. Very fair. And sometimes, as of recently, I've been associating the goddess Isis with the goddess Mot. I think they both have wings. And I know that's like a common thing within Egyptian mythology. But for some reason, I was also getting that like strong Libra energy, strong justice, sense of justice or sense of morals here, where you're able to see both sides of an argument, but at the same time you understand what is fair. I think it surprises people a little bit when you are very either well spoken or just very fair minded. Like, they wouldn't expect somebody who looks like you to be so again, mature. There's something mature about your energy. Like, you're able to discern between certain situations, and people just see you as no nonsense. They wouldn't take you for a fool, or they understand that it would be dumb to take you for a fool here, because you really are very, I'm hearing pragmatic as well, very smart. So maybe it could be due to your career, or it could just be the kind of person that you are. But regardless, people are always surprised whenever they see that you are very, like I said, well-spoken and fair-minded. Maybe a little bit too smart for your own good is what I'm hearing as well. Like, I don't know why I'm getting the perspective of people who have dated you, specifically either their friends or family. They're like, how did this person end up with pile one? Like, they seem a little too smart for them. That's what I'm getting, which is very interesting. Nothing against your past lover or lovers, but like, I guess their friends and family definitely think that you're a catch in more ways than one. Okay, for your crystal cards, we have pyrite, bring on the abundance. People see you as very abundant or very lucky when it comes to finances, or that you're able to create a lot of money, depending again on what you do. Maybe it's because you're so smart that they assume that you have a very specific kind of career where you bring in a lot of money. I'm thinking of like an attorney or a doctor, somebody who's very knowledgeable because of the way you speak, or even like a psychiatrist, something along those lines. Like, you're just very well spoken. We also have Peridot. Set those heavy bricks down already, but they also understand that you take on a lot. I think people very naturally see that you do a lot. And again, for a lot of you, this might just be your personality. Maybe you are somebody who's had to do a lot your whole life, so you don't know what it's like to just be somebody who's more laid back or easygoing, or just, you don't know how to be the kind of person who is just kept by a spouse or by, mommy or daddy's trust fund. You work. Regardless of what your background is, you work and you do a lot because this is just what you've always known, and it's part of your personality. At least people see you this way, because I think it surprises them when you do more than you are asked of. So for example, if you are very attractive, if you are very well spoken, if you do come off as very well educated, there's something here about they weren't expecting somebody like you to like do something physical. Like, maybe they've seen you actually clean up something off the floor. They would think that that's above you, or they would think that you think that's above you. So they're always surprised when they see you get, like, you're not afraid of getting your hands dirty here, essentially. Maybe they've seen you do something like I heard construction work for some of you, or maybe woodwork. I guess is more acceptable. Like, they're surprised when they see you at the Home Depot buying tools to build yourself a thing. They would see you that way. Like, it's just surprising to them how much you actually do, that you're not afraid of, like I said, getting your hands dirty here. Literally, not so much that you're like willing to do something shady, but maybe that's also the case. Maybe they've seen you had to, in times of need, or maybe from your past, maybe this is a story from your past that you've shared, do things that you didn't want to have to do. So it's always surprising, based off your looks and how you speak, the things that they've seen you go through, or that you have told them that you've gone through. Let's go ahead and get the rest of your cards. Yeah, for some of you, you could have a very different background from what you currently live. Like, it would surprise them that you grew up in like maybe very different neighborhoods, specifically rough neighborhoods is what I'm hearing. We have generous. Yeah, you have a very generous soul. There's a lot of green here letting me know that you definitely operate from your heart. Like, you're very generous, very loving despite your circumstances, or despite how you have grown up. I want one more. Quarrelsome. 7 ways of interpreting this, and not all of them are bad. So the first thing is that because you are so well spoken, because you have a certain background, they know you're not afraid of getting into an argument, and more than likely you are, oh my god, why is this so hard to say? More than likely you are probably going to win any argument, because you're used to having to be somebody who mediates, who is in constant back and forth between people. Like, they know that you would win any argument because you're very intelligent, you're very smart, and maybe they have a hard time understanding that. Like, the way you carry yourself is actually some sort of intelligence. Another way I'm seeing this though is, again, you're not afraid of it's not that you get into arguments, it's just that you're not afraid to back down from an argument. It's like if people have something to say to you, you're like, okay, bring it. What do you have to say? It's confrontation. You're not afraid of confrontation. And that doesn't always have to be bad. It just means that you know your self-worth, and if people are going to talk down to you or talk bad about you and it gets back to you, you're going to confront that. It's like, why would you say something like that? But you carry yourself in such a way, in such a dignified way, and even in a very, I just want to say masterful, because it's very interesting how you carry yourself. Like, people are aware that you can get into any argument and you're not going to be afraid to do so, but that doesn't mean that it's necessarily like it's not going to get ugly. You just know how to speak. You know how to talk to anybody and anything about any situation. You really are good at handling conflicts here. And that's one thing that people are actually kind of wary of you, or like they're afraid of you. Like, you would be that one person in the office who the boss is afraid of because they know that you're not a fool. Like, you may come off as one. You may even be like a little bit too attractive according to them for how smart you are, but it's like they know that if they bring anything to you, you will have receipts. You will know who to contact in order to get things resolved. You think everything through very clearly and very thoroughly. Like, it makes sense to you why certain things are done, but when things don't make sense, that's when you're really activated. It's like, wait a minute, why is this going on? Why am I being brought into the office for this? Like, there's just something about your mind that is never at rest, and that actually amplifies how people view you. Like if people have never spoken to you, they're always surprised when they finally do get to speak to you that you're not an idiot, essentially. Again, because you're very attractive, because you have this undertone of sensuality. Like, maybe especially people who are attracted to you, maybe they have a way of talking about you. It's like, have you seen Pile 1? Pile 1 is just so hot. You know, they're always talking about your good looks. So when they talk to you, it's like, oh, this person isn't just, they're not just a bimbo or a himbo here. This person actually knows what they're talking about. So you're a double threat. A threat on all fronts here. Honestly, you inspire jealousy in certain people. And maybe that's another place where the quarrelsome comes from. Like, people wish they could get into a fight with you over stupid things because they don't like you, but they know better than to do so because you would win, essentially. But let's go ahead and get the rest of your cards. People also assume that you have friends in high places, but this may not always be the case. Like, some of you probably do, and then some of you are more likely to just, like, you just know how to handle yourself. So for my pile 1, we have the Starborn. Number 3. Number 3 makes me think of the Empress energy, which I was getting very strongly here. Even if you identify as a man, as a straight man here, like, there's something here about you where you just know how to receive the things that you are meant for, or that are meant for you. And then let's get another card. The Womb. So for my feminines out there, there's definitely, I guess this makes sense with the Isis card. There's a sense here that some of you look very fertile, I guess, or that you would make a good mother or somebody who would be good to have, like, children with. Even if you're not a feminine, I feel like people would see you as somebody who, like, if you're a man here, like, people would see you as very virile. Like, yeah, that guy would probably impregnate a lot of women. There's something here about people wondering and realizing that you would make a great parent here with the Womb, or that you would be great to have a family because of the way you carry yourself. Like, again, you're not, because you're so smart, people would expect you to, like, create very smart and accomplished children, thriving children even here, which is very interesting. If not, at least businesses, because I also see the Womb as, like, creative endeavors or starting something fertile, like a business that would generate money and jobs, etc. Like, you would be somebody great to undertake something. I'm getting low-key CEO, CFO vibes here. Let's get another card. We have the Box. Again, you are multitudes here. It's because I'm kind of thinking of the onion metaphor here, where there's like layers to an onion and every layer is something different. But here it's within a box. It's like you have to unlock it. Like, people don't just peel away your layers. They have to earn the layers that are to you. And maybe certain people have gotten to very particular layers. So the first layer is, your good looks. The second one is maybe your charm. And then by the time they get to like the next few layers, it's like, oh, they're actually very smart, you know, once people get to talk to you. And after that, it's like your actual personality, because your true personality, you don't show to everybody. But that true personality, which your friends and lovers have gotten to see, is probably something a lot warm, charming, very different. For some of you, I'm getting something cute and bubbly. Like they wouldn't expect you to be as adorable as you are. And then for other people, it's someone more like go with the flow. I think it all depends on your own personality, which I probably won't even get to see too much of in this particular reading. I'm just showing you what's on the outside, what people view you as, how you come off to them. I'm going to read from the book for the Starborn because I'm getting several things here. So from the book, we have the Starborn, the Divine Child, Star Child, the Destined. In this deck, the first card, number 1, is the mother, and then the second one is the father. So I guess it makes sense that Starborn would be like the child here. An elusive yet radiant aspect of the self, the Starborn archetype points to the cosmic spark of light that arrives with each being at birth. The moment the newborn crowns, the royal stars above are said to constellate in a unique shape that maps our path in the world. The idea of destiny is controversial, yet the starborn naturally feels a sense of destination and purpose, aiming itself toward a future that is beyond the mundane. So I feel like, especially in your youth, people always thought that you would be destined for greatness or success, because I'm kind of seeing like a child prodigy or a child with a lot of talent. Maybe a lot of you, this was, you know, people saw this within you, and maybe they even told you. And even now, regardless of what your age is, people feel that you're still destined for something good and amazing. And like they kind of see you going places regardless of where you are, regardless of what your current situation may be. Because there's something here about like there was something in your childhood that came very naturally to you. In fact, a lot of these particular situations, like maybe you were always, you know, a very beautiful child, or maybe you just had a lot of charm, because I'm being told to associate Isis here in young, you know, in children with like the charm of being able to speak to anybody, or being able to just do a lot. Like maybe you were a kid who understood at a young age what responsibilities were. Maybe you were parentified, unfortunately, as well. But even then, it's kind of like, I'm seeing this quarrelsome energy specifically as a kid. Like you weren't afraid of anything. And somehow over the years, as you got older, maybe your parents instilled a fear within you, or maybe the fear was learned elsewhere through your experiences. It's kind of like whatever thing that was keeping you down wasn't really you. And you've had to unlearn that particular system that was passed on to you, or that you had learned in your own experiences, depending on the situation here. Because I'm seeing somebody who people still see you destined for something amazing and greatness. That's why I saw that CEO, CFO vibe here. And even then, like I said, there's layers to you, so they understand that you would keep, like, even if you were to achieve greatness, you would still remain very grounded. Like you wouldn't let it go to your head, or you wouldn't even lose your sense of empathy here, because you have such a big heart. This generous mentality is something that would never truly leave you. This would be my people who, like, even if they became millionaires, billionaires, like you would still make it a point to do something for everybody else around you, because you understand at some point that we're all meant to here to be human. And even if we do achieve money, success, fame, etc., like that means nothing if you're not connected to your fellow man here. It is very interesting. I feel like that has always been within you as a kid, especially because I'm being shown like a specific example, and this is kind of something I grew up with. Like I was a very fighty type when I was young. Like I wasn't afraid to get into fights, but then at some point people were like, oh well, girls don't get into fights, and I was like, says who? You know, like maybe I should have stuck with that, and I could have been a great MMA person or something. But you know, it's the things that people have told you, or that society may have told you, that you aren't supposed to do. Those are the things you're meant to unlearn somehow. Maybe people have told you, oh, people aren't intuitive, that's just nonsense, you know, you're only supposed to believe in what XYZ religion that you grew up with is supposed to tell you. But here you're learning to take back control of your own destiny, of your own intuition, of your own guidance as well. So it's very interesting, very beautiful energy. I feel like to some extent, a lot of this could actually be true. Like for a lot of you, pile one, I feel like certain things that people see within you, you might have to hear right now, because there are things within yourself that you don't see. Like I feel like, yes, you're very physically appealing, very attractive, but you're also capable of a lot of love. And again, you may not think that you come off as very well-spoken or clear-headed, like, but I feel like that you are. So for this particular pile, some of the things I'm telling you, I feel like you have to hear, because you may not be aware of all the amazing ways that you come off to certain people. So if this sounds like you, if you want to keep hearing, let's move on to the tarot portion, where we're going to look more deeply into who exactly thinks what of you. And I'm going to do this from several perspectives, like friends, family, colleagues, like the career, workplace, and then of course lovers, romance-wise. Even if you've never been in a relationship, I'm still doing this because for some of you, you may have had people who had crushes on you and you didn't even realize, and I kind of want to see what they have to say about that. So for my pile 1, what deck should we use? Let's use this one. All right, so let's start with, in general, what people's first impressions of you are, and what their perspectives, how do they view you are. So this is just a general public, like when people get to first to meet you. We have the 2 of Cups reversed. You're hard to get to know. Like, you don't make yourself available to everybody, so it's few people who actually know you on a very personal basis. In fact, when people find out that that people actually do know you, they're like, oh, what's pile 1 like? Because there's something rather intimidating about you, whether it's your good looks or even just your career or the way you speak. There's something that intimidates people. We also have the Shadow. This is the Devil reversed. People find you tempting. It's interesting that this is coming off very romantic already. I feel like the most amount of attention that you gain is romantic or, you know, physically sensual kind of energy. So this is probably why this is coming off first. This could be because of whatever it is that you do. Maybe you have a particular career that deals with how you look or something along those lines. So this is how the general public sees you. Let's see how friends and family see you. I'm being told to start with friends. How do your friends, when they first meet you, their first impressions? Seeker of Swords, Page of Swords. So you are more than likely the first one to make contact here. This is the Page of Swords, somebody who's kind of like hesitant to reach out. Like, people are just always either very timid to reach out to you, or you may be the one who speaks to them first. So they're put in that position of like, oh, how do I respond to pile 1? Like, you know, they don't know how to... It's not that they don't know how to speak to you. It's just that you give off this energy of somebody who is so... I keep hearing well-spoken, but let me just start saying something different. Like, you just come off as very smart. Intelligent would be another way of saying this, but for some of you, you might actually have like either an accent, or you might look different to where you are. So they wouldn't get the intelligence right away. Like, they would just assume that you would speak in a different way, which I know sounds odd. So when they finally get to talk to you, it's like, oh, wow, I wasn't prepared for this. And if you've ever spoken to like very intelligent people, like certain like founders of companies, and how they're very, like, they have a genius mindset. That's how I feel people approach you. Like they're afraid that anything that they say would make them sound really stupid. So they don't know how to approach you. But the thing is, I don't think you're not mean or judgmental or anything here. It's just, you know, they're intimidated by how you speak. It could also be, again, that accent. Like, I know I live in the US, and sometimes when people come across certain like British accents, it's easy for people to assume that they're very smart, because something about the British accent just, you know, exudes intelligence, at least here in the US where I'm from. Something along those lines. Like I don't know why that is. Certain accents just give certain impressions. So that's only for those of you with an accent. Let's go ahead and get family, how family views you. And of course, this one's different because I feel like for a lot of you, family has been around your whole life. We have the Sacred Union. Your family sees you, I don't know why I'm seeing this, as like marriage material. So maybe some of you are at an age where they just want you to settle down, and they know that you are, like, your family sees you as both physically attractive, well off financially, very intelligent, at an age where you're able to handle like a family, a marriage, etc. Your family wonders why. why you haven't gotten married yet. And or you might be somebody who goes through a lot of partnerships, but the same question still stands. It's like, how like how is my pile one not married yet? Maybe you might come from a culture where like arranged marriage is a thing, and maybe that's something they're trying to push on you. Or they're just like, if not arranged marriage, because I know not everybody has that, it could just be that they're really pushing for you to have, to settle down, to have a family, etc. Your family sees you as marriage material. I think it doesn't matter what they think of you anymore, because they're at a point where it's like, okay, pile one, are they confirmed to be a bachelor, bachelorette, whatever? I think especially if you're a woman here, they don't want you to be, they want grandkids. So take that as it resonates. That's your family. I feel like this is very in the moment as well. Like, this is not anything from your past. They're deciding to put that aside. It's like, okay, let's focus on that now. Okay, let's focus on your colleagues in the workplace. How first impressions and how do they view you? For my pile one, we have Ace of Pentacles. They see you as very promising. They see you as a worthwhile investment. If you get hired, it's because they see your worth. So your company definitely sees your worth. Do they actually own up to that? Will be up for you to decide, but they know that you are a safe bet because you work very well. You're very, you speak rather well, and they need people who speak well. You're good. You're very responsible. They like that about you. So the workplace definitely sees your worth and value. That may not always show in your paycheck or in how your boss treats you, but I think for the general consensus of the workplace is that you're somebody valuable to have around. I feel like your colleagues really do, and coworkers really do value working with you because you know what to do. Like, when you're around, they're not having to carry all the weight. They know that you will carry your own weight. So yeah, I feel like they value you in the workplace. And then for lovers, lovers and past lovers, maybe crushes, romantically, how do people view you? I'm being told to pull 2 cards here. We have the Seeker, the Fool. You come off as very innocent, even if you're not. Or maybe you just give that impression of like innocence. You might just have one of those like faces that looks very, sweet and innocent, even if you're not. Or you could also just have a youthful appearance as well, even if you're not. Or you could be. Or maybe you just are not very experienced in general in relationships. That could also be the case. Take whichever resonates here. But let's get the second one. And of course, I will clarify these. We have the Seeker of Pentacles reversed. Like I said before, people are aware that you do a lot in relationships. So when they see that you've invested into somebody and they don't do it for you, you're quick to back out. Like, if you see somebody isn't a worthwhile investment, you're not afraid to call it off, because the Seeker of Pentacles is somebody who is willing to take on something long-term. Reversed, it's like you are, but to an extent. And maybe they've seen you pull out of like long-term relationships because somebody wasn't able to live up to you. So there's a very interesting contrast here. And maybe some people think that it's a little dumb of you to back out from a relationship so early or something, but that's not really the people who are interested in you. That's people who have seen you be in relationships, which is very interesting. But I feel like they can't really judge you here. The people who are attracted to you, though, they see you as a breath of fresh air. They see you as somebody new. You could be a lot of people's first something, whether it's like a first relationship, first person of your kind to be with them. Maybe you've been their first partner and they've been the ones without a real relationship for a long time. There's something here that you are very beginner friendly. Whatever that may mean. But you don't take on people that you don't see a long-term potential with. Another way of seeing that is that you could currently be in a phase where you're just not into commitment. The Page of Pentacles reversed would be non-committal energy. So let's go ahead and clarify these energies. But I feel like the general view of you is that you're hard to get to know. So for my pile one, let's clarify general view. Okay, 2 came out again. Look, the overall public, like the general public, has a lot to say about you. We have, this is the Hierophant reversed, and then we have the 5 of Swords. No, 5 of Wands reversed. Okay. People, like I said, people are aware that you're not afraid to get into an argument, or you're not afraid to discuss things, is what I'm seeing. Like, you're not afraid, like if people bring some BS to you, you're not afraid to one, prove them wrong, two, take them on, like in the workplace, for example, like if a customer is trying to give you some crap, you just, it's not like you give the crap back, it's just like you tell it straight to them. It's like, well, this is what's happening. Like you don't fall away, or it's not in your nature to do so. Same thing with friends. If you see that somebody is having some sort of disagreement with you, like there's something, it's very Mars dominant. I don't want to say argumentative, but you're not afraid of anything, like I said. And then with the Hierophant reversed, several things. Either you could teach people certain things, like you're not afraid of passing down your knowledge, but people may not really accept that knowledge until it's too late. And then they think back to you and it's like, oh, Pile One told me this like 4 weeks ago, I should have listened. You know, it's that kind of advice. I'm getting the sense that you're actually very, like I said, you're well spoken, but people are just like, that's cute, but I'm not going to listen to Pile One for whatever reason. So yeah, you're full of wisdom, but people don't always appreciate it until it's too late. And even then, it's like, it's very few the people who do understand your wisdom and actually take into account, and people who do tend to have a lot of good luck with that. So take that as it resonates. Let's go ahead and get your friends. Clarify how your friends view you. We have the Four of Pentacles. They kind of see you holding on to certain things, whether it's mentalities. For a lot of you, though, it's going to be more physical things. Not calling you a hoarder, but maybe it would surprise them. Like if they came to your house and saw that you still had, I don't know, like a jacket from 15 years ago. It's like, oh, you still have that? Or something along those lines. Like you hold on to very specific things for a while, either out of sentiment or it being your favorite thing or it being very hard to find. Also, something about your possessions is very interesting. Like maybe you just have very interesting possessions. Like I'm thinking of somebody who has a cool collection of some sort of thing or another. Not sure what that has to do with how they perceive you. I guess maybe they just think it's cool that you have a lot of cool things. Very interesting, like the friends once they get to know you. Let's go ahead and get the one for your family. What does your family view and or see you? Divine Masculine. This is the Emperor reversed. Like I said, especially if you are into men or if you're a woman into men, they feel that you reject a lot of divine masculinity. And you could see this as several ways. Either they've seen you reject a lot of men, or maybe it's just hard for you to find a counterpart. Like if you identify as the divine feminine here, then the divine masculine here is very hard for you to find. Another way of seeing this is that you definitely... you've healed a lot of the masculine side to you, or the side of your, like your father's side, your father's family, that would be your masculine side. You've had to heal a lot from that. Maybe you're outspoken about this, maybe you're not. And this doesn't necessarily mean that you don't have like a great relationship with your father or your father's family, but there's definitely a lot of certain specific things from that side of the family that you have had to heal. So yeah, it's very interesting that your family sees you this way. And this could be either good or bad. They can take it anyway, but they understand that you've had to heal a lot from the divine masculine. Interesting that we have major arcana for the family here, because I feel like out of everybody here, they have the most opinions about you. Let's go ahead and get one for your work situation, colleagues. How do they see you? We have the Star. And this is what's beautiful about like the people who work with you. Once they get to know you, they're the ones who see you going places. Maybe they're the ones who like really push you forward for promotions. It's like, hey, you should take on this manager job, or you should apply for this, or you should go transfer here. Like I feel like your colleagues see more of you than you realize, especially if you work with people who have been at certain companies longer than you have. They see the potential within you and they're like, why don't you apply for this? Or maybe they've even, like especially certain bosses or something here, they know that you're meant for better, so they would definitely help you out in your career and or field here. So I feel like when it comes to the work situation, you probably shine the most, again, because you're not afraid of doing the hard work. Like it just comes naturally to you, but you're also like, you're not afraid of developing your skills, and you're not afraid of like reaching for more, especially if you're younger or if you are in a newer field. If you have just started your job, people are going to help you a lot along the way. So you're making really great impressions at work. I'm just thought I'd let you know that. Or I guess you do need to know that. And then for romance. So let's clarify the romantic perspective. We have the King of Pentacles. So one of two things. This could be you. Like, you definitely have King of Pentacles energy where people see you as a solid, like, they could see being like a solid relationship or going the distance with you. Like, you're definitely somebody worth committing to. Or you could just attract people like that. Like, maybe if you're not into commitment right now, you're attracting people who want to be committed to you. There's something here about you being somebody who is worth investing in romantically, because I say investing in, but there's something here about you being like end game. There's something about you being a very safe and reliable choice. You would really impress a lot of, I feel like you impress a lot of your either current partners or former partners, families. Like, there's just something about you that is very likable. Even if you look a certain way, even if you work in a certain thing, like when they get to know you, it's like people wonder when you're going to get married, because Pentacles energy is definitely commitment energy here. It's definitely long lasting energy as well. Maybe you only get into relationships that you know are going to last several years. And maybe that's something here where like you're with a person for a few years, like maybe 3 or 4 or 5, and then you call it off, and then you go to another 3, 4, 5 years with somebody. Which is very interesting. I feel like you attract all kinds of people though, both people who want to be committed and not committed. But I feel like the only people you really give a chance to are those who want to be committed, or who at the very least you see potential in. But it's very interesting that we have rather serious energy when it comes to relationships. Maybe you take your relationships very seriously. Or you could have Venus in an earth sign like Taurus, Virgo, Capricorn. So this would be very dependable energy. Like, they see you as very dependable within romantic relationships as well. I'm here, this has nothing to do with the cards I just got, but I'm hearing that like a former lover's friend is interested in you and they're asking questions about this. Very interesting, not to make it seem odd. If not a friend, it could be like a friend, like I used the word friend loosely, so it may not be like their best friend, but it could be like a friend of a friend or somebody that they hang out with a lot. Very interesting. Anyway, this person would be an earth sign. So let's go ahead and get your runes. We have Ingus, the fertility rune, and I'm not surprised. Like I said, people understand that you're very physically appealing, that you're very physically attractive, so they wonder who you're dating. How many suitors do you have? They're wondering if you have a kid. For those who don't know anything about you, they wonder if you have children or if you want to have children. Because there's like I said, there's like an aspect of fertility to you. We also have Jera, success. People see you as very successful or on track for success here. We also have Pertho, future. I'm being told to throw this to see which way it lands. Okay, not upside down. Okay, future. So yeah, future. Because if it was going to go back to the past, it would be people from your past and wondering how you are doing now. But because it's facing the future, I feel like people really do see like a good, prosperous, or a very interesting future for you. We also have what's this one? This is Taga's home. There's something about your home or house or where you reside that is very interesting here to them. Or it could be like your background as well, like your culture or wherever you are originally from. Because I do get the feeling for some of you that you're not, like wherever you currently are is not where you're from. So people are very interested in your background, whether you're from a different country or just your culture is different. People wonder a lot about that. So very interesting. I feel like these runes confirm a lot of what I've already said. Back of the deck, we have the fates. If people truly got to know you, they would understand how much you put your faith in the universe, because there's something here about you being very spiritual. Again, that's a layer that not a lot of people get to see, because only those that you trust get to see that, like your really close friends. Yeah, the Holy Dancer, which is the Hanged Man, which is that spiritual journey. And I feel like that goes with the fates here. So there's something here that if people really got to know you, if you were to tell them something that you wish you could tell them, is that you're very spiritual, very divinely guided. I mean, this is why you're at a tarot reading, because you truly do love and appreciate these kinds of things. But let's go ahead and move on to our closing cards here for any last things about how people view and perceive you. But I feel like for a lot of this, it makes sense. Of course, being hard to get to know might be the only one that I think isn't true to you, maybe. I guess it depends on how how strong those boundaries you have set are, because I feel like for some of you, you do have like a strong sense of boundaries with people. For our closing cards, let's go ahead and get this one, the Inner Goddess Guidance, I think it's called. From my pile one. Any last words on what people may think of them? First impressions, how they view them. Interesting. Daughter of the Sacred Heart. You know what's interesting? I almost chose from the deck that you chose from, like the title cards, La Virgen de Guadalupe, Our Lady of Guadalupe. She is a very specific Mexican figure, and maybe also in other Latin American countries, I think. I just know because I'm Mexican, I associate her with that. And maybe some of you could be of Latin American descent or Hispanic descent as well, maybe even indigenous, because I've always associated her to be like an indigenous goddess, which is why I still keep her imagery around, even though she's of the Catholic pantheon, if you will. But with Daughter of the Sacred Heart, I feel like, again, people have a lot of hope for you and in you. Like there's something about you carrying a lot of people's hopes. I feel like this is more your ancestors and more your family than anything, because like the cards I was getting from your family, they believe very strongly in you, regardless of your background, of course, but I'm specifically speaking to those of similar heritage to mine, because I know I resonate with that. And there's words here. Every saint has a past, every sinner has a future. Yeah, and that's a common phrase within this deck as well, but there's something here about your past and future, like not always being the same. Like you can come from anything and become anything here. Let's go ahead and get the rest of your cards. Something about roses and the color red, either that looks really good on you or that could be like a signature color for you. We have You Are Magic. Yeah, there's something here about you being rather magical. And this may be something not everybody sees. I think people have to have that magical mindset in order to see that within you. And then make a mission statement for your soul. Some people kind of wish that you would, I'm hearing that that you would market yourself more, which I know is odd. Like they feel that you're, whatever it is that you do or however it is that you carry yourself could be very lucrative in some sort of way. That's a very business mindset kind of thought coming through. So that may not apply to everybody. But for some of you, something about marketing yourself more would definitely work out for you. Not sure who needed to hear that, but that was coming through. And then we have, these are channeled messages. They're meant to be more romantic, but I've been using this deck for more platonic or non-romantic messages, and they've been very insightful. So let's see what you have. And you will know whether to take this romantically or not. So for my pile one, we have, I hate how much we've been fighting, so I would rather not talk. There's something here about, again, when people get into arguments with you, or if they have a disagreement with you, they just know that they can't win because you're just, they're both frustrated because they wish they could win or just talk to you. But then there's also that part of you that is like, no, I'm going to stand up for what I believe in. So there's something argumentative about you. And I don't even think it's a bad way, but that just could be how I'm taking it. And some people who have had disagreements with you in the past kind of wish they could take certain things back or wish that they could make things right. I feel like you have a list of people you no longer speak to for whatever reason. And there's some people who kind of regret this. And they wish they could have you back. Let's go ahead and get more cards though. Yeah, you're not afraid to cut people off. And that's one thing not everybody seems to understand. We have, I'm stringing you along. I have ulterior motives. So I feel like for some of you in the past, you've had to deal with people who have ulterior motives to you or with you. Like, and this could be part of the reason you have such strong boundaries, why you set very strong boundaries with certain people and why you don't give yourself access to everybody. This is something that is earned. Like you definitely use your discernment around people. Even in the workplace, which I think is probably the best place for that. Like people don't take it personally. So it's easy for you to have that kind of mentality there and why people really appreciate you there. We have air sign, Gemini, Libra, Aquarius. Even if you are not these signs, you could come off as that sign to somebody, or you could just have this very strongly within your chart. You will know. Because I was getting rather strong like Libra energy, or even Gemini here, possibly Aquarius as well. In fact, I feel like, yeah, everything I mentioned in the oracles felt very strong air sign now that I think about it. And then let's get one more. I adore you. People truly do adore you though. I think despite some of your energies, I think like the people who adore you the most are those who understand why you are the way you are and respect you for it. But this is where I leave it. Pile 1, thank you so much for letting me read for you. If you feel like doing so, you can like, comment, and subscribe. And if any of this resonates, let me know in the comments below. I'll see you in the next reading. Take care. Hello there, Pile 2. If you chose the lepidolite point and Kuan Yin, then we have a reading here for you about your first impressions, people's first impressions of you, how you come off to other people, how people view you. And with Kuan Yin, the first impression I'm getting is that you come off as a very nice person. And I'm sure as I said that, there were some recoils because maybe not all of you see that. Maybe some of you thought, me? Nice? I'm not very nice. But remember, these are people's opinions of you. This is their first impressions or just what they may think of you. But let me go ahead and read from the card for Kuan Yin, the goddess of compassion. I recognize suffering in order to release it. Curiosity breeds compassion. So there's something about your energy that people, you're just very calm and you come off as very nice. Even if you yourself don't feel this way, this is how you come off to people. Like they feel that you're a very safe bet, that you're somebody, maybe you're even quiet, at least when they first get to know you. Something about your energy being peaceful, quiet, calm. Some people may even see you as very studious or like somebody who enjoys calm, quiet things like reading or drinking tea, and maybe some of that might be true, but there's something about your energy that comes off as very peaceful to them. She's also known as the goddess of mercy, so maybe they have even seen you be very kind in certain situations, and this is why they make this assumption. But let's go ahead and get the rest of your cards to see what people's first impressions of you are, or you have come off to people in general. But very peaceful. I'm also recording this at night, so this might be my pile of night owls. Something very studious as well is what I'm getting. Like maybe some of you are studying something here. So for my pile 2, we have unrecognized. Yeah, there's something about being very introverted here, or maybe not a lot of people get to see you because you may work odd hours. Yeah, something about the nighttime specifically. Maybe you work like a night shift or even a graveyard shift, or you just prefer to not be seen. You come off as somebody who doesn't enjoy crowds. We also have committed. So maybe some people know you through relationships, because committed makes me think that people may know you through somebody that you are committed to. But of course, this could also mean that you're very committed to your craft, to your work, to your studies, whatever it is that you dedicate yourself to, you're very committed to that. I'm also getting strong Ravenclaw vibes for this particular pile. Like I'm getting, what's it called? Dark academia here, which used to be my vibe back in my old bedroom. Like I would have that kind of stuff. So I guess I could see why. Like maybe you do really enjoy having a lot of books or being surrounded by things full of knowledge. At least, again, this is how people view you, as somebody very smart. Maybe you even wear glasses, and this is why they make this assumption. So for my pile 2, we have release, and that one fell right out of my hand. I'm gonna get another one. I'm getting fall vibes with this. So maybe your aesthetic is very autumnal. Like maybe people see you a little bit more during the fall season, or you give off like, you know, cozy girl vibes, like in the sweaters and the plaid shirts, the knitted garments. We also have opportunity. And again, we have a night sky here. This is like the woods. I'm not sure if you can see it well in the camera. Actually, I'm glad. There we go. But this is like deep in the middle of the woods. There's a starry night sky, something about the nighttime. I'm also seeing like this contrast of the blue and orange here. So maybe there's something about that color palette that you like. But they are also opposing colors on the color wheel. So maybe some of you are artists as well. Maybe you like to paint, draw, work with colors, color theory in general. Let's go ahead and get the rest of your cards. Selenite, cleanse your energy field. Yeah, this would be my pile of empaths who prefer to not be around too many people, because I feel like you get drained very easily in large crowds or being around certain people. Maybe you just live in an area where like the energy is not so great. I'm getting somebody who is like for example, I'm thinking of a college student on campus. Like, even if you do live on campus, maybe you just stay in your dorm a lot because you don't really like having to interact with a lot of other people. Maybe the whole college lifestyle isn't very you, but you're there because of academic reasons. You know, that's what I'm getting. Or even somebody who would prefer to just be in the library. You don't really make yourself seen. But when you are seen, I feel like people, again, they see you as very nice or very dedicated to your work. We also have Peridot. Set those heavy bricks down already. You really dive deeply into whatever it is that you do, that it almost feels like people wish they could pull you out to get to know you a little bit more. Because for some of you, there's people that are interested or that are very curious, and maybe they've even tried. Like, I'm seeing, like, I feel like this happens a lot to like very studious kinds of people. They'll just be at a desk working on their thing, and then somebody comes up and tries to bother them, or tries to, well, maybe not bother, but tries to strike up a conversation here, and you'll just be very, maybe dismissive, maybe not. I feel like even if you don't mean to be dismissive, you might just be very much in the middle of something, like on the, like very dedicated to your work, very focused on whatever it is that you are doing, and then someone comes along and it's like, oh, I wish I could talk to you, but I really have to get this done. So there's something here about taking on a lot mentally. Like, a lot of this is very much in your head. Like, for a lot of you, you live in the world of your mind, or in the world of, I could also see this like you being online all the time. There's something here about, there's always a conversation going on either in your head or online with people that you know. I feel like you may be more likely to know people online than in person, but the few people that do know you in person, they enjoy conversation with you. They enjoy, like, there's something very mentally stimulating about your energy. Like, even as I'm tapping into this, I'm not really getting bored with the thoughts and ideas that are coming through from you. We also have the bridge here, number 38. I will get to that in a moment because I feel like that's important. We have the eternal child. So you're definitely very connected to your inner child here. And maybe this shows through like your, through the things that you enjoy, whether it's movies, certain shows, maybe video games. This would be my pile of gamers, I feel like, because it's easy to get warped into the world of gaming and never see the light of day. Actually, that makes sense for this if you're not, you know, if you're not in school, if you're not academic. I feel like this would make a lot of sense. Even my D&D people out there, because I was having a discussion with, I know several people who play that. I don't, but you know, I've gotten to know people, and that can take up hours of your time just with the dedication that it takes to play. So this is somebody who lives in a world of their own. And then one more. We have Eros, which is very interesting. And oddly enough, I was getting undertones of somebody who's not afraid of their more sensual side. Like, people may think that you're a little bit, to some people, you come off as a little, how would I say this without, like, innocent, or somebody who doesn't really partake in these kinds of activities, but you actually do. But for you, it's very mental. Like, for you, you have to meet at the mind before they can get to any other part of your body, let's say. Like, you have to meet in the mind, in the soul, emotionally, and then they unlock, you know, then they unlock the body, then they can have access to that special place of you. But it's very difficult. I feel like either you have not had many partners, or on the very opposite, and you may have had a lot of partners. For you, this particular activity actually means something different than from what convention says. Like, for you, it's something more mental. Like, you understand various types of sensual activities. Like, to you, you have to define it in a very specific way, which is very interesting. I haven't really picked that up before, but the fact that it's coming through is just letting me know that people see that about you. Maybe you've met certain people online for very specific things. So that, again, lets me know that their impression of you is that for some of you, there's like a wall there that you won't let anybody have access to you. With the eternal child, like I said, there's something about you being very close to certain things you enjoyed in childhood. I feel like that's how you keep that inner child, you know, it keeps your adult side happy. Like, just watching, like, I'm seeing anime, I'm seeing cartoons, I'm seeing, like, this could be my pile of people who love to go to places like Disney World, or I'm seeing Japan for some of you. Maybe you travel a lot to Japan, or like, what is it, Nintendo World, something like that. Like, you keep that side of you very much alive, because you understand that there's something about fantasy with you. Like, you either, fulfill fantasies very strongly, or you understand the role of fantasy within life. Like you don't really want to disconnect from that. And that's why we have the bridge. Like there's something here about you being able to connect either to a lot of people in very unique ways, or just you understanding that there's a purpose to everything here, which is very interesting. Like I feel like anybody who has the privilege of being your friend or getting to know you really values you for your sense of understanding. You have such a sense of understanding. You also have a very open mind and a very open heart as well for the people who do get to know you. I'm going to go ahead and get your archetype cards because I know I was forgetting something, to see what else people may see you as. Of course, Eris could also be creativity, because I was getting that some of you are just very creative. In fact, we have a lot of colors here. So rainbows I see as several things. Either it could be like people who have creative skills because they are able to use every color of the rainbow. And of course, I also associate it with the LGBTQ community here. So you might be part of that. Of course, you don't have to be. That's just for those of you who are. For my pile 2. We have Lover. These cards keep falling out of my hands. That is so interesting. Light attributes, great compassion and devotion, unbridled appreciation of someone or something. Shadow attributes, obsessive passion that harms others, self-destructive devotion. So one thing, the fact that cards keep falling out of my hands, you might be a little bit clumsy, and that's okay. People think that's cute and charming, or they would expect that of you. Like I see somebody just think that it's adorable that someone like you is a little clumsy. Like they find it endearing, because I wasn't getting anything bad from that. And maybe you get embarrassed about it, but people find it very endearing, and it makes them want to help you. In fact, it gives them like a reason to approach you, as to where any other time I feel like you don't really give them the light of day. But for a lot of you, I feel like you don't mean to do that, because I'm getting such sweet vibes from you. Let's get another one. Oh, with Lover. Yeah, like I said, you definitely, like I feel like a lot of you already have a partner, or maybe even multiple partners if you're into that, if you're into polyamory or polygamy. There's something here about you just being very lovable as well. Even if you're not into polyamory, like people could easily see you in a relationship because you're just so sweet and kind, and because you're so thoughtful. Let's get another card. We have Athlete. Well, this is completely different from the rest of this. Light attributes, dedication to transcending physical limits, including handicaps, development of personal willpower, and strength of spirit. Shadow attributes, misuse of athletic ability for selfish ends, false sense of vulnerability and entitlement. So one or two things, you could be in a relationship with somebody very athletic, and maybe they try to bring that out in you. Like maybe you have a partner who does some sort of thing, or maybe is part of a gym or part of a dojo for some of you. Maybe they are into some sort of martial arts, and you try to do that with them. And maybe this is something you take on specifically because of them, even though it's not really your personality. You kind of appreciate it. Like I'm seeing a person who is into, like, for example, jujitsu because their partner is into jujitsu, and this is how people get to know you. And maybe you've made friends there as well, friends that you would otherwise never meet because that's not really your thing. So I feel like that's going to be very specific for a very small portion of you. Another way of seeing this, of course, is that maybe you yourself are very much an athlete. Maybe you're aware that you have to balance out that mental aspect of you with something more physical. So maybe you actually make it a point to be very athletic, or to take on some sort of sport here. Doesn't matter what it is. It could be anything as simple as running, or as complex as, I don't know, archery. I'm seeing archery for some of you. Like maybe you just like the aesthetic of archery, which, fair. There's something here about you understanding that you need to, like, this athletic part, whether it's something that you are currently doing or something you're being encouraged to do in the future, it's like something that balances out the rest of you. Because for a lot of you, you kind of just want to make friends. So you make friends through the gym or through, things like that. So therefore your friends might be very different from you. Like you're in specifically friends that you know in person, because like I said, some of you might have a lot of friends online, but the people that you know in person, you kind of want to have something in common with already. So this is what I'm getting. Of course, this could also be for some of you, it could be like your profession or your job. It could make you have to be very very physically fit or very physical. So it might feel like you're an athlete. Like maybe you build muscle because you I don't know, maybe you're a stalker at a retail place or something like that. Something along those lines. Very interesting. But there's a very complex combination here. You may or may not be with somebody who is also athletic. Like I said, this could also be you. But regardless, if you are athletic, there's people who crush on you at the gym, just letting you know, or at the wherever it is that you go to do this. You've got people who have crushes on you because they like that very quiet, submissive energy. Did you hear that? Sorry, my neighborhood's being noisy tonight for whatever reason. Okay, but people do have crushes on you. People that you wouldn't expect to, who are very different from you because they like the quiet submissiveness of yours. That's specifically what I'm hearing. That's not going to be everybody, of course, and you don't have to take that. Like, if you think it's a little weird that people like your submissiveness, you don't have to. It's like, well, thanks for your admiration, but we can move on here. But if this sounds like you, and you will know if this is you, because this energy was very specific. Like, I feel like even you would be aware of this. Then let's move on to the tarot. If not, we have, 4 other piles you can check out. But let's go ahead and see people's first impressions and opinions, how they view you. The first one is going to be people in general. So this is going to be generally like everybody, like what most people will say and or think about you. We have the Queen of Cups. I'm not surprised. I was getting very strong water energy here. Pisces, Cancer, Scorpio. Of course, you don't have to be these, but you could come off as very emotional, very sensitive, very quiet as well, but also very loving. And then we have, okay, 2 more. We have the 6 of Wands. I feel like you're very accomplished. Maybe you have a lot of... I'm seeing a lot of like diplomas and certificates on a wall, or maybe even a lot of trophies or medals. Maybe you're very accomplished in something very specific. So I'm seeing that. And then we also have the 8 of Wands. They always see you as moving on to the next thing. So I feel like for some of you, you may not know people for very long, or the people who have known you for a long time are not very many, because they see you as always on the move to something better or to the next thing. Let's go ahead and get cards for how your friends see you, their first impressions of you. And my pile 2. All right, we have the 2 of Pentacles. So a lot of the friends that you've made have actually been through very practical reasons. Like I said, maybe you've made them through wherever you work or wherever you go to work out or do the physical things that you do, or even online. Because the 2 of Cups would be meeting people emotionally, like one-on-one, but 2 of Pentacles is coming together for practical reasons. So I feel like a lot of your friends started off as classmates or as colleagues, something here. Like it started off as something not very emotional, but as they got to know you, they started to see the kind of person that you are. The next one is going to be how your family sees you. We have Death and Rebirth. This is, interestingly, I feel like your family has seen you undergone very strong, very complete transformations here. And I feel like maybe when you were younger, you were a very different person than who you are now. And your family is kind of, I guess it depends on what it is that you've become. Your family either really likes this about you, or maybe they kind of question it. It's like, why did my pile 2 have such a drastic change? In some cases, your family may think that this was needed. Like they're glad that you stopped becoming so much of an introvert and became a little bit less of an introvert. And then for some of you, maybe you were very extroverted in youth and now you're very introverted. It all depends. But they've seen you undergo a very drastic change. Like whatever you used to be, you are no longer that way. And this is specifically from your younger years to what you are now. This is what I'm seeing from your family, their first impressions. Well, family don't really make first impressions. This is just their opinions of you, how they view you. Next one is going to be how your colleagues see you. We have the Sun reversed. So 2 ways to take this. Either they see you as very confident, or they just see you as very competent in whatever it is that you do, but they kind of wish that your confidence would also demonstrate this. For example, you would be the person in the office who knows exactly how to do everything. Like you're really great at your job. You may even be exceptional, but your personality is not, like it doesn't match your ability, and they kind of wish that it would. Because I'm seeing people in the office like really wishing that you were more outspoken, that you would like go for positions in leadership, but you yourself may not be very comfortable with that because you just like to keep to yourself. So in the workplace, people see that you know what you are doing. You're really great at what you do. You're phenomenal even. You probably know more than the boss, but you don't have the confidence to take over that. And maybe you don't want to, and that's okay. But people at the workspace really wish you would. I feel like they're waiting for the day that you just blow up in somebody's face so that you can tell them the facts and tell it to them straight. Like, people really do support you in the workplace because they see your numbers, they see your results, they see whatever it is that you do, they see how you handle things. But your personality doesn't match that. And they're like, wait a minute. Somebody needs to give pile 2 a big ego boost here because they deserve it. Let's see how you are viewed romantically for my pile 2. And honestly, I kind of do too, pile 2. Just seeing how your energy is, how much you are dedicated to your work, you deserve those accolades here. Maybe they even see like what schools you've been to or where you're from, and they're like, there's no way, because pile 2 doesn't act that way. So romantically, we have the 7 of Cups. Like I said, a lot of people crush on you, and you definitely have options. Regardless of whether you are in a relationship or not, people see that you have options. If you are in a relationship, and this isn't going to be everybody, and you don't have to take this anyway, I feel like certain people think that you could do better. Not sure. Well, let's get more cards. Why is that? We have the Sage. This is the Hermit. Which makes sense. The Hermit would be somebody who keeps away and keeps to themselves, but also somebody who is very self-aware. But people feel, oh, okay, for those of you who do identify as polyamorous, because this would be my pile of people who do that, this is all the options that you have, and maybe you do keep multiple relationships, you know, that everybody is okay with here, because that's what polyamory is. But if it's not that, then people feel that you have a lot of options because they see that people really do admire you, or that they fall for you, because the type of beauty that you have, or the type of physical appeal that you have, is somebody who is like either very quiet. I'm hearing very demure, very quiet, very demure. And if you're a guy, strong and silent, or if you're more masculine, I guess I should say, like the strong and silent type, people really do see that. A lot of people would actually benefit from being with somebody like you. Like, maybe people have tried to set you up in the past, or maybe people are just like, they can envision somebody with you, because 7 of Cups can also be like illusions, like the things that people fantasize about you. And you do have a very fantastical nature here. Like, people find it easy to fantasize about you, to project onto you, or you give them that dreamy like quality. Very strong Pisces for sure. You must have Pisces or Neptune in a strong placement here, because I'm getting that very strongly for this particular pile. Let's go ahead and clarify these. Because these 3 came up together. For my pile 2. So let's clarify the general consensus of how you are viewed. We have the 8 of Swords. Very interesting. People realize, or people may think, that you're not aware of like either your own beauty, your own abilities, that you're not self-aware enough of all like the amazing things that you are, because you don't give yourself enough credit for whatever it is that you do. You don't give yourself enough credit for how you come off sometimes. Like I said, you feel very accomplished, very well read, very dedicated, but there's also this beauty to you. But your beauty isn't just physical. Your beauty is more internal. Like, people really like your personality. People find it very easy to get along with you. This is the kind of person, like, you're the kind of person people fall for because of your personality. Like, if like your good looks may bring people in, but they feel very comfortable around you. The Queen of Cups is somebody who makes people at ease with themselves and within a connection, regardless of your gender here. Just because it says Queen, you could be either man or woman here. Let's go ahead and see how let's clarify your friends' views. We have 9 of Pentacles. I'm wondering if you have known your friends for a long time, because Pentacles gives me, it's long-lasting energy. This is energy that goes a distance. It's earth energy. So I'm wondering if a lot of your friends, you've known each other for like a very long time, that they don't really have that first impression of you, because maybe you've known them since kindergarten or something like that, you know, since you were very small. But 9 of Pentacles lets me know that they are aware you don't need anybody. They are aware that you're very self-accomplished. Like, maybe you even have your own house. You can you know, take care of yourself financially. Like, you don't really need any other person. They see that independence within you. And if you do decide to keep people around, it's because you genuinely and truly like them. So I feel like your friends feel very grateful for being able to call themselves your friend, honestly. Like, and this is very, like, the energy I'm feeling is very humble. It's not even that, like, I don't think you mean to be exclusive, like I said, with the people that you keep around, but the friends that do have that access to you, they're very grateful for it, because they understand that either you don't have the time for a lot of people, or because you're very, there's something about exclusivity here. And maybe like friends of friends, like when people try to get to know you, they go to your friends, and it's like, so what's pile two like? It's like, well, they don't keep a lot of people around. And I think even your own friends kind of gatekeep you, if that makes any sense. Like, especially if there's people out there who want to date you, and they kind of size them up, and it's like, yeah, no, you're not good enough for pile two. Pile two would not put up with you, which is very interesting. That's very cute, actually. And that's very sweet of your friends to be able to, like, you know, sift through suitors or other people who would want to get to know you here. Let's see how your family views you. Oh, another way I can read this card, the death card here for your family might see you as very intense. I feel like the connection with your family is just very drastically different from everybody else. Either because you had a very either difficult or very intense upbringing, depending on the situation, or just people wouldn't expect you to have the connection that you have with your family here, whether it's good or bad, because there's just something so different. So let's say you're very, like I said, you come off as very nice to everybody and everything. But maybe you have a rough relationship with like a particular parent, and they wouldn't expect you to be that way with them. So maybe you had a parent who was absent, or who just, you know, wasn't very, you know, just insert something negative here. And when they see you interact with that parent, it's just mind-blowing to them that, well, one, you're that way with them, and two, that you had to put up with that. So I feel like you keep that side very private, because the death card can also be privacy, because it's Scorpio, 8th house energy. But let's see another way your family sees you. We have the Ace of Cups. You're still very loving. I feel like even if you've had to put up boundaries with family, even if they've seen you change a lot, they see you as very full of love. And maybe you had to walk away from your family to be this way. It's like you had to leave them in order to find yourself. And they kind of see this. Another way of seeing the Ace of Cups, though, is that they understand that a lot of people love you. They understand that you maybe especially if you're dating, they see like a lot of new people come and enter your life or exit your life. Or it could just be that, again, they always have this, because the Ace of Cups can be like eternal love, like a love that will never really fade. Like they will always have a space in their heart for you, the family that, you know, that you do have good relationships with, which may or may not be a lot, depending on the situation here, which is very interesting. Because when I get to the family, the energy changes drastically compared to like everything else. All right, let's move on to colleagues, co-workers, workspace. I'm being told your boss for some reason. I guess this next card is about your boss. How does your boss see you? We have 21, completion, the world. Look, you give your boss a run for their money. Because like I said, people see that you are very skilled at what you do. People see that you're actually better at the job that your boss is doing, So the world here, I feel like your boss kind of hopes that you take over for them one day. If not, then they feel that they found somebody who can actually stay with the company long term, or that can stay with you long term. If you are not in a work situation, if you work for yourself, this would make way more sense, because this just means that you have a sense of completion with your job. Like you really love your job, you understand it, it's your favorite thing. Like you understand that whatever you're doing, you're meant to do. That's only for those of you who already have your own business or run your own thing somehow. So that's not everybody, but for some of you, if you do have a boss, they see that you're perfect for the company, and I feel like they will really try really hard to keep you there. So if you don't like your job, guess what? Try to negotiate something here, because I feel like your boss would actually give you more benefits, or try to give you a better position, or even a raise or something here. Whatever you do for a living, pile two, you do it very well. And that makes sense. Like I said, in the oracles, there was like a lot of dedication here. Maybe you dedicated a lot to your career. And then let's clarify the romantic aspects here, which is always fun. What's another way people view you? We have the Queen of Wands reversed. Look, You're very attractive, very physically attractive, and you're not aware of it because she's reversed. The Queen of Wands upright, she'd know she's the shit, but reversed, she doesn't know. She doesn't know. So it's like you have this beauty that you're not even aware of. Or and another way I'm seeing this, because I'm seeing, what's that movie, Miss Congeniality, where she's a very beautiful woman, but people don't really realize it until she starts, you know, putting on the makeup and the clothes and, you know, doing the va-va voom here. That's what I'm seeing. Some of you, all you need is a makeover and bam, like you would have to keep people up. You would have to bat people off with a stick. You're very attractive and you're not aware of it, or you're very attractive and you don't dress the part, you know, groom yourself in the way that you're supposed to. And if you did, hoo boy, like, like even if you're a guy, I feel like you just need to wear a nice shirt, some cologne, and like you would have it all. You would have it made. Very interesting. Maybe this is why so many people crush on you, because they see the diamond in the rough here. Like you're just a very attractive person, but because you don't really care about this, or it's not at the forefront of like your mind, like you don't care too much about your physical appearance, you care more about everything else. But if you came to wherever it is that you go, like work or the gym or whatever, dressed up really nice one day, like just have everything done, people would just fall to their knees. Fall to their knees. Maybe some of you have done this already and you're aware. Because sometimes all it takes is a little bit of makeup and boom, like you have all these suitors. Or like I said, that nice shirt and a cologne for the guys, or for, you know, for the masculines out there. I'm not surprised, because like I said, I was getting this hint that you have a lot of crushes, a lot of options. And if you have a partner, they're aware of that. If you have a partner, they get low-key jealous or low-key possessive because they're aware of all the people that are into you. So yeah, this is what people think of you, their first impressions and stuff. So do I want to get the runes first? Let me get the runes before I clean this up, before I move on to the closing cards for my pile 2, my beautiful, sweet pile 2. And let me tell you, your personality is part of what makes your attractiveness that much better. It's like, you know, when somebody's really attractive and they're not aware of it, and they just have like a really beautiful personality, like your marriage material. Okay, so pile 2, we have, this is, I know it means constraint, naughties. This is naughties. You hold yourself back. You hold yourself back somehow, or maybe there have been obstacles in your way that have caused you to hold back. Maybe this is a lot of like, I'm seeing either family or childhood trauma that prevents you from being able to see things very clearly. Again, it's that lack of self-confidence, because here we have, what is this? Tewas, victory, because you're very accomplished. This is victory. This is that 6 of Wands energy. Like I said, you're really good at something here. You are amazing at something. And maybe you are aware of that particular thing. Maybe you're aware that you're really good at that, but like, everything else, it's like you might have confidence in your career or in your academic field, etc., that you have 110% confidence. Everything else though, like in your own body, in your own life, it's kind of like a 60%. And then we have Theresas. So you're very divinely protected as well. I feel like you have a sense of protecting yourself here. Maybe this is why naughties came through. This is like holding back. This is safety, essentially. So I feel like there's a shield around you that you put around yourself because you're kind of afraid of what exactly? I guess it all depends. You have fears or you have things that hold you back, but if you were to let those go and allow yourself to shine through, I feel like you would just have a very different, like, life would open more doors to you. After all, you did choose lepidolite, and I don't always draw attention to the stones that I use, but this is the stone of calming. So maybe some of you suffer from some sort of anxiety. I highly recommend lepidolite because it is, out of all the stones, the most calming stone. I literally have one in the house to give to people who just are, you know, having some sort of anxiousness or nervousness. It's a beautiful stone. I love it. So maybe some of you deal with anxiousness or anxiety, and maybe this is why you're not very aware of how people view you. Because like I said, you have a lot of crushes and you're not even aware of it. Or maybe you don't care, but it might boost your ego a little bit to know that people do find you physically appealing. So let's move on to your closing cards. And I'm going to start with the Inner Goddess Oracle here. For pile 2. Okay, so that one popped out very quickly. We have 39, Black Diamond. True love is eternal. So maybe some of you really do have a partnership here. If you don't, I feel like one is going to be called to you very either very soon, or it could play a pivotal role in your life. And maybe some of you didn't even come here for a love reading, but I feel like there is something here about a fated partnership. Black Diamond also makes me think of something very rare. You might be one of those people who only like loves once and that's it. Like I know people like that. Like they get with one person and they stay with them forever. So this might be you, pile 2. Or you could just be a person who, once you decide to commit, like once you marry, you're going to be with that person for a long time. We do have the number 39, so maybe some of you, this will be around the age of 39. That's not going to be for everybody, but you know, I feel like for some of you, there's like a fated partnership here. Again, because you've dedicated a lot to your work, I feel like you're going to find somebody who's going to be able to dedicate a lot of themselves to you. Kind of like to balance that out within your life. Let's go ahead and get your Sacred Creative Oracle card. I forgot what this is. The Sacred Creators cards. That's what they're called. Okay, we have Shift the Way to New Potential, 29. So some of you are undergoing a shift, and I feel like people are seeing that. People are seeing that you are making new moves, or that you are trying to learn new things. I feel like it's very apparent to people that you are trying to create a new life for yourself, and they really admire this and are aware of this. Especially those people that you either work with or that you study with, they understand the shift here. You may have recently also entered new environments that are allowing this to happen for you. We have Welcome the Divine Masculine. Well, why is this coming through in the, like, for some of you, I'm hearing that there's a Divine Masculine on your way. Like, if you don't have a counterpart, there's somebody on their way here. Because Welcome the Divine Masculine, I mean, it could also mean that you are tapping into your own masculine energy here. But because we have this particular couple here, and not all of the cards in this particular deck have, like, you know, couples here. For some of you, you could be finding somebody who is either your divine feminine or divine masculine, depending on which modality you identify more with here. Also, they all end in 9. We have 39, 29, 19. So the number 9 could be important. Or some of you could be of any of these ages, which would make sense. There could be a gap of 10 years between you and your person, for those of you who are okay with that sort of age gap, and if that age gap makes sense to you, depending on where you are in life. And then for the last ones, we're using the Enchanted Love Oracle, and this is meant to be like a love message deck, but I've been using it more platonically just because it does have a lot of great advice in it. So for my pile 2, though for some of you there might actually be some love messages here because I was getting that strongly. We have I Get Lost in You. Like I said, you have a sense of fantasy, like an element of fantasy or something very dreamlike that people could get lost in, like your very being, your essence, your eyes, your beauty. For those of you who have like an online presence, there could be something very fantastical about your particular image or your particular, like maybe a blog or an account of some kind. If you're an artist, they get lost in your work. Let's go ahead and get more cards. I stalk your social media platforms. What did I say? Like for some of you, you have, if you have a social media, people love it. And people, they just like fall in love with your work. You know how when you find like a new artist or a new blog, a new something, a new channel on YouTube for some of you, you just kind of binge everything that they have, or like you look at all their artwork and you become obsessed. Like it becomes your thing for the first few hours or days that you are getting to know it. That's what I'm getting. Like you definitely have that quality about you, pile 2. Like people can become obsessed with you. We have, I know this is random, but you cook the best food. So for those of you who cook food, people love how you cook. And for those of you who don't cook, maybe you just have really great taste in food. Like maybe when you take people out to eat, they love everything that you choose, or they just, there's something here about you knowing how to eat. Maybe you have a cooking blog or vlog or something here. And I'm being told to get one more. For my pile 2. We have, oh, okay, 2 more cards came out. I'm immature and selfish. All I ever see is myself. So this is specifically, I feel like certain past lovers, they admit that they're immature and selfish. I think because you yourself also have a very strong inner child, you may attract people who are just, very immature. Like there's a fine line between being close to your inner child and immaturity, and I feel like you've skirted that line with either previous friends or lovers or people in the past. Maybe this is also a part of you that you understand you used to be, but now you are no longer. And then we have, you're so familiar to me, as if we've known each other for a long time. So, like I said, you make people feel very comfortable and very at ease. You might be the kind of person that when people first meet, they're like, have I met you before? And that's very natural and common with people who make people feel very comfortable. Like maybe you strike up conversations with strangers very easily. So there's that feeling to you, Pile 2, when people first meet you. But this is where I leave it. Thank you so much for letting me read for you, Pile 2. If any of this resonated, let me know. And if you feel like doing so, you can like, comment, and subscribe. And I will see you in the next reading. Take care. Hello there, Pile 3. If you chose Freya and the red calcite, then we have your reading here for you about what people's first impressions of you are, what people think of you, how you come off to them, and anything else that they may perceive about you. So you chose Freya. The goddess of discernment is what this particular deck calls her, but she's also the goddess of love in Norse mythology, but also a goddess of war, because she, along with Odin, they kind of divide their the warriors, the fallen warriors, to see which one goes with whom. I forget which one specifically. I think Odin's are the one who die in battle, and Freya is, I think they die of sickness. I might read into the book because I actually haven't read up on her too much. But the card says, I spend my time wisely. I only say yes when it's a holy hell yes. So there's already a very strong, no nonsense kind of energy coming from this particular pile. At least that's how people see you, as somebody who, yes, is very beautiful, very breathtaking, but not one to be messed with. And it's kind of surprising the amount of goddesses, love goddesses out there who have this kind of energy where they are both like a goddess of love, but also a goddess of war. That was a very interesting. I'm not sure if you picked up on like that knock. There's birds outside my house. Like, yeah, I think that's a bird. Maybe a squirrel? I don't know. Something knocking on the outside of my house. That's odd. I don't typically hear that. Take that as confirmation. Yeah, there's something here about this particular pile. You're very no nonsense. Let's go ahead. This could also be opportunity knocking at your door. I wonder if this is my pile of people who get a lot of attention. Like I'm hearing a lot of gentleman callers, but that doesn't have to be the case. Like maybe just get a lot of physical attention from people. So very interesting. Let's go ahead and get the rest of your cards. But yeah, lots of love goddesses are also like goddesses of death and or war or something else, of course, here. We have taking risks. Yeah, you are not afraid to take risks here. You are very fearless. And I feel like everybody who meets you kind of assumes that about you. You might have a very strong presence, or even like a warrior-like stance, even if you're not, even if you're typically very any other way. Of course, like I said, this is how people perceive you, so it may not actually be how you are. I'm specifically thinking of people who have like a strong RBF, or even just somebody who has like a no-nonsense face, regardless of what you may look like. You also have opportunity. Yeah, you also come off as rather opportunistic for some of you, or like if an opportunity arises, you hop on it right away. Like you know what you deserve and you know what you don't deserve. People see you as, and when I say opportunistic, I don't mean that in a bad way, though well, maybe some people do mean it in a bad way, but it's more like you jump onto something that you know you like or that you want and you make it your thing. Like you're not afraid to be very proud of the decisions that you make, at least initially, when you see that there's nothing wrong with them. After all, you only say yes when it's a holy hell yes. Already very strong fire energy here as well. So Leo, Sagittarius, and Aries, specifically Aries and Sagittarius is coming through. Let's go ahead and get the rest of your cards. You may work in a field where not a lot of people like you are in it, and maybe this is why you stand out so much. We have lacking. That's where the lacking comes from. So let's say you are in a specific type of role, and people may not think that you're suited for that role because either of how you look, of how you come off, of maybe for some of you it could be your gender or your race, etc. Like, people assume that whatever role you are playing, you are not suited for. So that's where the lacking comes from. But because I'm not getting that from you, I'm feeling like, well, if you do have this lack mentality, it's something you've overcome a long time ago, or something that you are no longer embodying. So I'm not getting that from you. I'm getting this from people who tend to misunderestimate you. We also have committed. So there's an energy here of like, you're very committed and dedicated to the things that you do, the things that you love. Hence why, especially if you're in a specific field where someone like you wouldn't typically be in, you're very committed to that, and that's part of why you're there. I'm thinking of like what's the movie Zootopia, and Judy Hopps. I almost called her Bunny Hops. Judy Hopps, how she's not, people just think, oh, why is she in the police force? That's only for, you know, the predator animals, bigger animals. And she's just a small, she's just a dumb bunny. But she's not a dumb bunny. She's very smart. They forget that intellect and the quickness of rabbits could be very helpful in that kind of job. So I'm getting that kind of energy from you, pile 3, where you're just in a particular job and people are like, what are you doing here? You know, I'm thinking of, like, for example, women who work in construction. They could be amazing project managers, but you're not going to see them out there doing a lot of the manual labor. Or if you're a guy, you could be a male nurse. And I mean, that's a little bit more common, I think, because it's useful to have somebody who can lift patients. But it's that kind of mentality where whatever it is that you do, people assume that you're not supposed to be there, or that it's just not fitted for you. Like, if you are a guy nurse, they assume you're the doctor every time, and you're not. So it's that kind of mentality. So let's go ahead and get the rest of your cards. It could also be an age thing, like maybe people, you're a little too young for whatever it is that you're doing, but little do they know you graduated high school at 13 and then college at 15, or whatever. Something like that. I have the wrong cards. Interesting. So yeah, maybe people think that they have the wrong person here as well. And I think that's just part of the reason why you have such a feisty or fiery attitude. It's like you've had to prove yourself time and time again that whatever it is that you are meant for, you deserve, or whatever it is that you do, you are very much equipped to handle. So it's no wonder you have a little bit of a rough outer shell, but with a gooey center, or like a very sweet center. I feel like once people get to know you, they actually realize that you're a very wonderful person, but that's not everybody. Because there's kind of the feeling that people are going to automatically assume something about you. We have storyteller, light attribute, ability to experience and express life through stories and symbols. Shadow attribute, making up tales that harm others. So I'm getting more the light attribute, where you definitely are used to telling your story over and over. And or maybe you just have a lot of great stories to tell. You have like a lot of you have an interesting history. When people listen to your background, they like to hear what you have to say. They like to hear about your past, especially, like I said, if you have a very interesting past. I mean, I remember like there used to be this one lady at somewhere where I worked. I didn't realize at the time, but she was actually like a legit mail order bride. And somebody like that, you're always like, tell me more. And I'm kind of getting the feeling that people almost feel entitled to your story. And again, there's a defensiveness here from you, because it's like, I don't want to have to tell my story to everybody. It's my business. But because you just stand out in such a way, or when people find out like a key piece of information about you, they can't help but ask. You're kind of used to that. Let's go ahead and get another card from this deck. Yeah, you're quite a character, pile 3. Some of you will really lean into your storytelling. I feel like some of you really like to, share your story. And then some of you are just kind of, just annoyed with it. Like you don't feel the need to tell everybody everything about your background. We have rebel. Light attributes, challenges authority to affect social change, rejects spiritual systems that do not serve inner needs. Shadow attributes, rejects illegitimate authority out of anger, rebels out of peer pressure or fashion. So I'm getting... Yes, the rebellious nature makes a lot of sense. Maybe some of you are Aquarius or have Aquarius placements, because like I said, you stand out. And maybe there's something about your, like, upon first appearance or upon first finding out about you. People realize that you do something that is kind of against your, again, against what it is, whatever it is that you are, whatever it is that you do. People see and sense that, and they can't help but ask questions. So yeah, there's something along those lines where you're a very interesting person, and people either like feel that you don't belong where you are, both for good and bad reasons. I feel like some people may think that, oh, you're too good looking to be in this profession, or you're too small to be in this profession. I'm thinking of like a petite person in a specific profession that is meant for, I don't know, bigger people. I don't know, something along those lines. But yeah, very interesting energy. Let's get the rest of your cards. There's a lot of green here, letting me know that you've definitely worked a lot on self-acceptance and self-love as well. For my pile 3, we have lapis lazuli, get real and own your truth. There's something very genuine about you. Like, you can't help but be a very honest person. I think because for some of you, it might be hard to hide this. So whatever you tell people, you know, is the truth, even if they don't believe you, especially for those of you who have stories that are very hard to believe. But you know your truth and you tell it. You don't really care if they believe it or not. Because this, I feel, is like a very honest thing about you. We also have lepidolite, find your quietude. There's something about you, like I said, you kind of you have a hard outer shell because you kind of really just want your own peace. And that might be something that you might have to tell people when they first meet you. For some of you, you could be in the public eye, or maybe you were once well known for something and now you are not, even if it's just locally. So you kind of have that attitude of like, I don't feel the need to keep repeating my past. I am me now, and this is what I do. So yeah, I'm thinking of like in the show Parks and Rec, there's that one, like a former high school basketball player who was like the star player and everybody in town knew him. How he just has this character of like, I can't stand everybody. Can you guys stop, associating me with my past? That's what I'm getting a little bit from you. Of course, this card could also be taken as you just really appreciate people who allow you to be, who just don't ask anything of you, or people who bring you peace. You really do value your peace here. And I feel like people have a hard time understanding that, especially if you've become so used to being in the public eye or being, playing a role for everybody else. Because not everybody sees that you're just like anybody else. You kind of want to be left alone. Like every now and then you might feel the need to stand on your soapbox and talk about your past or do something here. But for the most part, you kind of just want to live your life and take it to the fullest. You want to take advantage of all the beautiful things in life. I feel like, and not everybody sees this, but some people do, you are somebody who doesn't take every living day for granted, because in the past, maybe certain things have happened, or you did come from a particular background where certain things that are available to you now were not available to you before. I get this a lot from like immigrant people or people from other countries, expats. I get this a lot because there's a difference between people, like I'm Mexican American. I was born here. I was born in the US, but my family, my parents, they're from Mexico. There's a difference between people of my age who were born here and people of my age who have recently gotten here. Like the people who have recently gotten here, they go for more because, they didn't leave their country to just sit around and do whatever. I feel like it's not that I take living here for granted, but there's definitely more of a drive and somebody who's willing to leave everything behind, as opposed to me who's always been here and, I don't, like, things have always been available to me. That's a privilege I have. So I'm getting something similar to that. So some of you could be from different countries, just taking advantage of everything in the new country that you are in. Even if you have similar background to the people around you. We have Anima Mundi. Yeah, this is a card of completion within this particular deck. This is a card of you understanding who you are and knowing exactly what you want. And some people, not everybody, seem to understand this. I think like you have to go out of your way to find your people. You have to go out of your way to find like the right environment, the right neighborhoods, or just you have to know who to get along with, especially like I said, if you are from a different country, you go find the people who are just like you, who understand you. It's like, where are my expats at? Where are the people from my country at? Because I'm here to better myself, but I also kind of like being around people who I don't have to explain myself to. That's what I'm getting from you. And maybe people even wonder why you keep to certain circles or certain people. if you're gonna be somewhere different, I think it's, you know, that's, well, one, that's your business. Two, you just kind of you're in transition phase. You're always going to be between two worlds here, or multiple worlds for some of you. If it's not that, it could be, again, just being someone very different to the rest of the people around you, even if you've been there your whole life. We also have the prayer. I'm seeing that you're heaven sent to a lot of people. Like, people really like you. There's something about your energy or the way that you help or your perspective that really helps and shifts people. You could take this a little bit more literally, and they can see the spiritual side of you. Maybe like you're very active in your spiritual community, whatever that may be. But people really do have an appreciation for you because it's like you're a prayer answered, is what I'm hearing. And then one more from this deck. We have the sword, and there it is, the feistiness. There's something about you. I'm thinking of like the king or queen of swords in the tarot, where you're very clear and concise thinking. You're also very communicative. I feel like you speak a lot, because in this entire pile, I just have not been able to stop and think. And maybe this is why you appreciate quietude so much, because you yourself cannot help but communicate your, like, there's something about constantly needing to communicate, or if you're multilingual, like there's always a need to be translating things in your mind, which I know seems interesting, but I've been put in situations like that because I don't just speak Spanish. Spanish and English to me are easy, but when it comes to things like French, I'm constantly having to think in a different language to get me accustomed to that language. It's interesting how the mind works when you are multilingual here. So maybe some of you never really have a quiet mind because you're always thinking not just what you're doing, where you're going, what's going on, but that translating factor. Or if it's not the translating, it could be just being very mindful of the surroundings, like if it's a different culture or a different area, or even just like, yeah, it's being mindful of your surroundings, and that kind of keeps your mind very active, because it's like, I don't want to mess up, I don't want to do the wrong thing, where am I going, is this okay? There's a lot of anxiousness here, but the sword lets me know that this is going to better you in the long run, or it already has, depending on where you are in life, because it allows you, like I said, to walk between two worlds or even multiple worlds. You could even take this in a more spiritual sense, and maybe you bring your mindfulness mindset to this particular area and or situation, or multiple here, because this is a pile 3. I wish I could just give you a hug. I wish I could just hold your hand and tell you everything's okay, because this lepidolite card lets me know that you might suffer from some sort of anxiousness that you may not even be aware until you have a moment to yourself, because there's kind of like you hide a lot behind a very strong face, a very strong mask, or whatever the situation may be. You kind of you hide a lot of grief, and grief that you may not even understand, and it's okay to not understand it. You know, you are in situations that not everybody may understand you here. You might have a one-of-a-kind kind of situation. And the beautiful thing about the modern day and age is you can get online and connect with people who do understand you in this way. But I think it's not the same, you know, being online as opposed to in the real world. But I feel like you have to spend a lot more time in the real world here. Lapis lazuli lets me know, though, that you do communicate a lot better than you believe you do. People do think that you are very concise, or that at the very least you try and they understand. And I feel like if people give you a little bit more feedback on how you're doing and how you're coming off, that would actually help you a lot. I kind of hope they do. I think the right people will, and I'm here to tell you that you're doing amazing. You're very strong and you're very brave, and I'm very proud of you. Very proud. It kind of got on my feels about you, pile 3, because you're so strong and you do so much, but like no one, like you just need somebody to give you a hug. And some of you might be missing people that you really want to be around, but unfortunately you can't be with them right now because you're doing your own thing. You are writing and telling your own story and taking risks and taking opportunities. And people see this about you. I feel like this might just be part of your story, and this is why they make this assumption about you. But let's move on to the tarot. If this sounds like you, if this sounds like your situation or similar to your situation, let's go ahead and see what the tarot has to tell us. And I want to thank you for taking the time to click on my video and let me read for you. It's always a privilege. It's always a pleasure. So for my pile 3, so we're doing this in sections of people and what they think of you, their first impressions. The first one is going to be in general what people think of you, like everybody who meets you. The second is going to be friends, third family, fourth colleagues and coworkers, and the fifth will be romance. So for my pile 3, the general consensus, we have death and rebirth. I'm not taking this reversed because I get the sense that people see the big changes that you've made. They understand that you have come from very either unusual or drastic circumstances. There's a very big change about you. They know that, I think it's very apparent. Like I said, a lot of you stand out. So they know that you've made very specific and bold decisions here, to the point that they understand that the previous you is not the same as the current you. Let's see how your friends see you. We have the manifester. Look, your friends know and believe that you can do and achieve anything. They see you as very intelligent, very powerful as well. They understand that you are capable of succeeding in whatever it is that you succeed. I feel like your friends truly get you and they really believe in you. Even when you don't believe in yourself, the magician is somebody who is capable of doing anything and everything. Your friends see you as unstoppable, honestly. And maybe you get a lot of their support. I kind of love how your friends see you because they really do believe and see the best within you, pile 3. Let's go ahead and get your family. How does my pile 3's family view them? And of course, this isn't their first impressions. This is just their impressions of you now. Okay, we got 2. We've got 8 of Pentacles and the Knight of Wands. So 1, they see you as an adventurer. They definitely see you as going after what you believe in, after your passion, after your dreams. But with the 8 of Pentacles, they also know that you will reap the rewards of whatever it is that you've done in life. They know that you will get the results because they've seen you work your whole life towards something. You're a very passionate individual. Like I said earlier, you have very fiery energy, and the Knight of Wands proves this. Again, Aries, Leo, Sagittarius. Even if you don't have these signs, you could just come off as this, or your energy could be this way. This is boldly going after what you believe in, after what you love, after what you want to accomplish. Like, they've seen you set goals. They've always known that you would do this, and they still see you as working hard for this as well, and being able to reap rewards here. Let's see, how do your colleagues and coworkers see you? We have the 3 of Swords reversed. They don't know how much pain you hide behind that face of yours. I already said that. Like, you have a very strong outer shell. You have a very strong mask, a very strong face. If they were able to see, though, like, you probably go home every night and you just kind of, you sit in your feels for a moment, and I feel like that's okay. If it's not that, then there's like a deep-seated pain that you have within you. You may share this with a few people, and maybe not everybody, like I said, but the few co-workers that you shared this with, they understand. Another way of seeing this is that if you don't have co-workers, if you work in some sort of thing where you're mostly by yourself, like maybe you're freelance, I feel like they don't see you enough to get to know you. But if they did, or like the few times that they've seen you, they understand that you miss certain things, or that you have like a not so easy job. Like, they understand your struggle, essentially, the few times that you've seen your coworkers. Because the 3 of Swords reversed, if it was upright, it would be like everybody knows. But since it's reversed, either you hide it very well, or not a lot of people get to see this. So I feel like for a lot of you, work is where you spend most of your time with, or where you feel the most comfortable showing your emotions for some reason, maybe because people ask. This could also be a heartbreaking story that they know you for. And then in romance, how do people view you? So we have the 2 of Swords. I don't think you have time for romance. I don't think that's really something that you focus on. There are people who want to get to know you and want to communicate with you, but either you don't really have time for that, or you don't give them the light of day. Of course, the 2 of Swords reversed, I've always seen as like a language barrier as well. So maybe you're afraid that like not everybody will understand you and or your culture, or your circumstances. So there's something here about a misunderstanding when it comes to relationships. It could also be a cultural thing, because I know in certain cultures, it's just commonplace to do certain things that in other cultures would be seen as either flirting or being, you know, romantic. Like I think of how in certain cultures it's common to kiss both cheeks of somebody that is like a close friend or a friend of a friend, or somebody who is like within their age group, and then in other countries they don't do that at all. You know, they don't even touch, they don't do anything like that, you know. I'm thinking like the differences in culture between Latin America and East Asia. You know, in East Asia you don't touch them at all. Latin America, they're a little bit more friendly. It's something along those lines. So there's something here about like cultural differences, if not a language barrier, or just you not having the time in general. Doesn't necessarily have to be any or all of those. So let's move on to clarify these particular energies. That said, people do find you interesting, because to have the Two of Swords here, people do want to reach out to you. So they are romantically interested in you. But I feel like that's not really that's not your thing. You're not interested, at least not right now. So let's clarify the general opinion. Justice reversed, which is very interesting. I feel like people understand your circumstances and feel like it's unfair, the things that have gone on in your past or in your life. Like I said, some of you have like a very public platform, or you have had to tell your story multiple times, because the Justice card reverse lets me know that people kind of do root for you. They do hope that you get justice, and maybe this is something that you yourself also strive for. Let's see, how your friends see you, how your friends, let's clarify. We have the Four of Wands reversed. But you could also take it upright, because the Four of Wands upright would be a celebration. They miss you at the parties. They miss hanging out with you. They miss having fun with you. I feel like this would be the person, like if they're, you know, if they're not there with their friends, they kind of miss the parties, or they'll watch the parties on, you know, on the Instagram or Snapchat or whatever. And it's like, oh, I wish I was there. Or like maybe during the holidays, you FaceTime each other and it's like, oh, I wish I was there. It's not like they miss you, because there's something about your essence that, you know, you bring a certain something to the party. There's something about you just being there. It's not the same when you're not there. So they definitely do miss you, but they're still very happy for you, because even reversed, like the Four of Wands is celebrating you. They could also just really love to celebrate you. You know, they pour a drink for pile 3 when they're not around. You have a really great group of friends, pile 3. I will tell you that. Like, I feel like your friends truly love you and celebrate you, and they're always there for you. And it's no wonder you miss them. Like, they're so sweet. Let's see how your family views you. We have the Five of Cups. So I'm wondering, like, I'm getting regrets from your family. I'm not sure if it's one person in particular or like a group of people, but somebody here wishes they had treated you better. Somebody here wishes they had done more for you. And I've seen this a lot in like parents whose kids go off to live elsewhere. It doesn't even have to be another country, just in general. They're always like, oh, I wish I had done more for them. There's something here where they kind of wish things had been better or easier. Even if you feel like your parents did everything they could and like you had a great childhood, even if that on your end, pile 3, that you feel like they did everything, like you're okay with that. For your family, I really do feel for a lot of you, this is like parents or whoever was in charge of you, like whoever took care of you, whoever looked over you, they wish they had done more, because they see you gaining success or doing well, and it's like they feel they haven't deserved that, or that they haven't done enough. And it's such an interesting feeling, because whoever this is, they get very emotional about you. It's like they miss you and they wish they had done more, even if on your end you feel that they've done everything. There's a little bit of, I don't know, a feeling of lack. And for some of you, you may have even had this conversation with whoever this person is, and you're like, no, you're fine. But this is them feeling the emptiness without you. That's really what that is. It's just missing you, but they verbalize it in a different way, or they internalize it in a different way. And then for colleagues, look, wherever you're from, whoever your people are back home, pile 3, like, you have a wonderful support system. I need you to understand that this is very beautiful energy that I'm feeling from them. For your colleagues, though, for your coworkers, workspace, we have the Hierophant. They learn a lot from you. I don't know if it's the different perspective that you bring, or if you're just like very, very well educated compared to the rest of the people you work with, or even if you're like in a position of leadership, you bestow a lot of information upon them that they otherwise would not have known. It may not even be strictly related to your career or job. It could even be just like, again, your background, your the differences between them and you. For example, if we're taking the whole, you're a woman or a man in a field dominated by people of the opposite gender, then you you tell them a lot about how that other gender is. Like, and I've done this, I work with a lot of guys and I will be the only girl, and I'll have to tell them, that's not how women view that. It's like that kind of mentality. It could be something as casual as that, or of course it could be the actual job itself. Maybe you're just really, really good at your job, and you tell them and express to them how you do things differently. And I feel like people are very in debt to you at work because you've really changed things around, if not for them individually, then for the workplace. So yeah, professionally, people view you very very useful, very helpful. And then for romance, let's clarify the romance. And I'm gonna get two of this one for my pile 3. We have the 9 of Swords. Yeah, some of you are just not open to being in a relationship right now. And people see this. Another way of viewing the 9 of Swords is that you make people very nervous. Like, some people will just not approach you because they wouldn't know what to say. It's like, pile 3 is so out of my league. Pile 3 probably has, like... I'm hearing that some people believe you have, like, a sugar daddy or sugar mama, or, like, somebody footing the bill because you seem very unimpressed or uninterested. Of course, you could be married as well. Maybe this is what they see. Like, they think that you are just unavailable. And then the 10 of Wands reversed. Yeah, that's what I was feeling. Like, people feel that if they were to get into a relationship with you, you'd either be very high maintenance or you require a certain level of like work and or money to maintain or to be with. Yeah, being with you would be work, because either you're just really, really good looking, you're in a very high position, or you come off as somebody who has very specific standards. And I'm not sure if that's true or not. It would be up to you whether you've made this clear or not, but like, people feel that they do not measure up to you. You're like, people don't even try. And maybe some of you are married. Maybe some of you are, like I said, just don't want a relationship. And this is why this particular area of your life is just kind of like not really happening. But everything else is amazing. Back of the deck, we have the Sage. This is the Hermit. Yeah, this would be somebody who's just not interested in, like, you really do value your peace. You're going through an internal journey here, a journey of the soul, a journey of the mind, of the heart. It's kind of like, when it comes to your physical body, you kind of wish you could take a break from it, or you wish you could take a break from like the outside world. I feel like whatever you're going through right now, pile 3, it's actually forced you to be a little bit more spiritual than usual, which would explain the prayer card in the oracles. Very interesting energy. Very interesting. So let's go ahead and move on to your closing advice for my pile 3. So we have some inner goddess cards for you to see anything else that people think about you, first impressions. We have Gaia, shine on. Yeah, you have a very bright soul. You have a very beautiful soul as well. There's like eggs here, so that makes me think of fertility as well. Like, and by fertile, I mean like you're able to create something. You're very either creative, or you just have the capability to make a lot within your life. There's also this butterfly here, letting me know that the transformations you have gone through are very hard to ignore. People understand that you came from very different or rough upbringings, or that there's a story to your being here that people just, they know just upon seeing you. Because like I said, you stand out. And maybe part of you kind of wishes you didn't stand out all the time. But let's go ahead and get the rest of your cards. We have limitations inspire innovations. Yeah, because you've come from limited circumstances, or people have told, like, they've tried to place limitations on you, you've made it a point to prove them wrong. And I feel like you really like that about yourself. You prove people wrong. You do whatever it is that you want, because you know the sky is the limit and nobody will stop you from whatever it is that you want to achieve here. We also have make a mission statement for your soul. I feel like a lot of you already have this. Like, there's a certain mission statement. Like, you have your set of values, you have your set of principles, and you just know what you want in life. And I feel like not a lot of people do. So this is why they're very almost attracted to your energy. It's like, how can it be like pile 3, where they just know what they want, where they don't question what they deserve. They just go after it. Because there's something here about being very dedicated and being very determined for the things that you want. And people truly admire this about you, pile 3. Even if you feel that they don't. This might be something that they don't really express as well. We also have, this is the Enchanted Love Oracle. It's meant to be channeled messages from lovers, but here I'm using it in a more platonic way, just to see what the universe has to say about you. Pile 3. You're too clingy. I need space in a relationship. Like I said, some of you are just not interested in relationships, or you prefer like long distance or very casual things if you have to be in one, because you understand that your circumstances may change tomorrow, and or you just, relationships are not your thing, or you're just already, or maybe you're already in a committed relationship and that's not what you're here for. Let's get another card. This is a karmic situation. I'm seeing your past as a karmic situation. I apologize for that in the background. Pile 3. You could take that as confirmation as well. A karmic situation. This could be either the current situation you are in, or like your past, your background may have, like a karmic situation may have put you where you currently are. And karmic doesn't necessarily have to strictly mean romantic. It could just be like, you know, it was your role in life to overcome certain hurdles or certain circumstances. That's what I'm seeing for you, pile 3. We also have, I am emotionally abusive, narcissist. So this could have been like a background you've had. Maybe you've had to deal with a lot of people who were emotionally awful to you, or maybe like certain circumstances that were brought on by narcissistic people. Yeah, you've had to overcome a lot here, pile 3. Let me get a few more for you. 2 more. Let's run away, elope together. I feel like for some of you, you may have had to run away from either home or somewhere. Elopement does make me think maybe some of you married somebody to get out of a situation, and then either you divorced from them or you separated from them, or you just are currently still married to that person, so legally you can't move on, and this is part of the reason you don't really care about relationships right now. Take whichever resonates more. I'm not saying that everybody here has a bad relationship if they are in one, but for some of you, there's something about this, or even the fear of this. Maybe you fear marriage because you've seen how that has been a situation where people have been kind of forced into things that they didn't want to do, and maybe this is why you view it that way. And then one last card. But yeah, the runaway part really, I feel like for a lot of you that does, for some of you it might resonate. We have summer. So the summertime could be important to you, or summers could be a very important season. Maybe some of you were born in summer as well. And then, oh, runes. I didn't even do runes for you, pile 3. We have, this is trust. It was. So there's something here about learning to trust yourself, trusting the divine, and trusting that things will work out. We also have Wunjo, joy. You really do focus on the joy in life. I feel like, especially if you had like a very difficult background, you focus on being happy because you know that life is short, and that every day that you are given, you're very grateful for. And then we have Othila, prosperity. Yeah, there's a lot of prosperity here for you, and maybe your definition of prosperity and success isn't the same as everybody else's, but it's your definition, and you're achieving that, and you're very happy with that. You're very sure of yourself and what it is that you want and what it is that you are in life. So I feel like you have that privilege. Like, sure, you may not have had the upbringing that everybody else had, but at least you're happy with the life you have now. And that's saying a lot more than for some people around you who may have been given everything and are still not happy. But this is where I leave you, pile 3. I am sending you, first of all, you have my respect, mad respect for me, because you have gone through a lot. I am sending you so much love. I am sending you peace and joy above all. If you feel like doing so, you can like, comment, and subscribe, and I will see you in the next reading. Take care. Hello there, pile 4. If you chose the amethyst and the Yamoja card, then we have your reading here for you for what people think about you, their first impressions, as well as any kind of vibes you may give off, what they may think about you based on appearance or based on, you know, just their interactions with you. So I have a Doja Cat song stuck in my head as soon as I came in here, and I'm not sure why. It's specifically it's Freaky Deaky. The one she does with is a Tyga. which is very interesting. I'm not sure if that has any indication of what people may think about you, but you definitely give off very sensual vibes, I feel. But let's look at the card you chose with Umoja, the goddess of all that flows. I am an ocean of creative energy. I give birth to what exists within me. And right away, there's something very there's something very beautiful about you. Like, it's your energy, it's your essence. There's something about you that people just kind of want to, you make people feel very comfortable and at ease and in a beautiful way, if that makes any sense. Like, if beauty could be a feeling, that's what you would be. And there's something about you being very approachable to all kinds of people as well. Yemoya, the goddess herself, is a goddess that's revered in both parts of Africa and parts of Brazil and Latin America, or sorry, South America. Well, Latin America is South America, but specifically parts of South America here. So there's something about you being kind of like relatable to cultures that on the surface seem very opposite, or if not cultures, then, to environments, to people that would seem very different. But I feel like you're the kind of person who can bring people together. I see you as like the kind of person who, like, if you hosted a party or a dinner or something, you would bring people that you think have nothing in common just to see how they intermingle and how they interact, and you find like a common denominator there, even if it's just, somehow being connected to you. But there's something here about your flowing energy as well. Like, I feel like maybe this is my pile of people who travels a lot, or even if you don't, I feel like you would travel very easily because you just kind of, you're always up for anything. You're always up for whatever the day has to throw at you, what life has to throw at you in some cases. Very beautiful energy. But let's go ahead and move on to the rest of your cards. Yeah, I feel like you have a lot of sensual appeal as well, but it's very, like, it may not be the topic of conversation, but I feel like you have some admirers who definitely think this about you, Pile 4. So take that if it resonates. I feel like not everybody here is going to care about the romantic aspect of this, but like, just letting you know, you fulfill people's fantasies here. We have loving. Yeah, like I said, there's a loving energy to you. There's something beautiful about your energy. And I feel like this definitely goes with it. In fact, both of these cards are heart chakra centered. This one because it's green, and that's a color associated with the heart chakra. And here, because if you look in the middle, like right between her, like right there in the middle of her chest, there's like this little, it's a very tiny heart, or at least that's how it looks like to me. Like, it's so tiny, I can barely see it from my point of view. But it's kind of like the heart chakra radiates here. Let's go ahead and get more cards for you, Pile 4. We have warrior. And this is what people don't really know about you, is how hard you have worked in life to get the things that you have accomplished, or to get the things that you've acquired here, whether it's money, maybe for some of you a specific home, a specific lifestyle, maybe for some of you a body as well. Like, a lot of you do put in the work, you do put in the effort for something that people are either very curious about or very envious about. And you can take that how it resonates. So let's say you do have, like, a really hot bod. Well, people don't seem to realize that you hit the gym every day, every other day, and work really hard toward that, or that you make sure you eat the right kind of foods, which takes discipline here. Yeah, very interesting energy. Let's go ahead and get the rest of your cards, the archetype cards. But warrior also lets me know that you're not afraid of taking on hard work. Like, you prefer not to, of course. I don't think anyone wants to make life harder for themselves than it has to be. But you're not afraid of that. It's like when push comes to shove, you know that you have to get down and do some actual work, or do something about this. And I feel like for some of you, maybe this is an energy that you don't always operate from, and then for some of you, you kind of thrive off of that. I'm hearing diamonds are built under pressure. Maybe you kind of need the pressure every now and then so that things work out for you. It makes me think of the people who make things harder for themselves just because they know that if they get something challenging, or that they get a challenge, then it will provide the results that they want. Like I said, a lot of you are not afraid of hard work. So let's get the rest of your cards. We have monk nun, light attribute, selfless devotion and single-minded dedication to spirit. Shadow attributes, negative judgment of the physical world, excess piety. So you don't literally have to be a monk and or a nun or even very religious or spiritual here, but this makes me think of like quiet dedication. It makes me think of a dedication that you don't feel the need to scream it from the top of your lungs that you are into something. You just do it, and you do it with a sort of, I guess, humbleness is kind of what I'm thinking. Because when I think of monks and nuns, they're not very flashy. They just dedicate themselves to inner work, and of course for them it would be their spiritual work, but maybe for you it could also be spiritual work. It could also just be a work to be like the best version of yourself that you could possibly be. For those of you who do a lot of like internal, emotional, mental, or psychological work, this is that as well. And I feel like people, they may not see this right away because it's not something you can pick up on right away, but they see that you do work on yourself. They see that you're not afraid of anything, and this is part of it. It goes hand in hand with the discipline here, because monks and nuns, they do have to have some sort of discipline, because a lot of the worldly things that you and I may take for granted, they're not allowed. Celibacy is one of them, so that's one thing they can't do, of course, is partake in carnal pleasures here. But I'm also thinking of, because I used to go to a school with nuns, and they would dress very normally, very, they wouldn't wear any designer or anything. There were certain things they couldn't attend to. They were allowed to have jobs, but it wasn't like they were going out of their way to make a ton of money. They were just making enough to survive and get by. So it's that kind of energy. People may see you this way. I'm also thinking Spartan for some reason, maybe because of the warrior. So maybe some of you have a Spartan lifestyle where you just focus on the basics. They also have scribe, preserving knowledge and information. Shadow attribute is altering facts or plagiarizing other work. I don't think the shadow attribute has anything to do with this, but with scribe, maybe some of you are really good writers, or maybe at one point you used to write, or maybe you still do. Maybe you have like a blog or something here. If not writing, it could be speaking, like speaking about topics that you're very passionate about. I'm thinking of people who have blogs about very niche items or very specific things that, again, you're very passionate. Because when I think of scribe, I think of somebody who is very dedicated to a particular sort of knowledge here. It could be various as well. This also makes me think of like a student. So maybe some of you are students and this is what you do, but maybe some of you never really left that student mentality, which kind of goes hand in hand with the monk and nun here. So some of you, how people are perceiving you as somebody who's very, very smart, very knowledgeable. They feel like you're a bit of an encyclopedia of things that, if they had to ask somebody about a particular subject, pile 4 is it. There's something about your mental space here as well. Like it's very, to the right people, like they find it very fascinating. I'm being told to get one more. Yeah, what did I say? Student. That's odd. Okay, I love it when things align. So light attributes humility and devotion to knowledge, openness to lifelong learning. Yeah, some of you just never stop learning. Like this is probably part of the reason you're here at tarot readings, is to see what you can gain from them, what perspective you can gain from cards or tarot readers themselves. Shadow attributes, arrogance in the pursuit of destructive knowledge, unwillingness to translate knowledge into action. So I do kind of see that. That makes me think of the people who love being students so much that they never stop learning and go out and get a job in their field or actually do something with that knowledge, because they just want to keep, they hoard knowledge essentially. But at some point, it's kind of like, yeah, like knowledge doesn't make the career. It's what you do with that knowledge that makes the career. So that could be one thing that has to be brought up with this pile. And maybe people have even told you, hey, you're so good at this. Why don't you go for XYZ? Or you're very knowledgeable about this. Why don't you come and work for us or work for this company? It's kind of like people feel that they can tell you what to do with the things that you have acquired. If it's not knowledge, it could just be experience as well. Like people just see so much potential in you. And with all this green and blue, it's kind of like you have both an ability to be very compassionate and to express this compassion with people. Maybe some of you already do have a job that you like and where you do this thing, but there's always like certain people who kind of want to hire you for very particular situations. I'm seeing, for example, if you're like a therapist, maybe you just get in contact with the right people and they're like, how would you like to work for my company as a member of, I don't know, like HR or something. I'm not sure how that would translate, but I'm seeing that for some of you. Maybe this has already happened or may happen in the future. But there's something here about your presence. Like you're a very unique individual. you may be somebody who identifies as something that is not very common for the area you are in, or you may be, again, I keep hearing niche. Maybe you're a niche something to a particular group of people, and they kind of want you on board for something here, and they kind of want to take what you do and what you know and apply it to other situations, which is very interesting. And all this with the loving energy, it's your loving energy that people are drawn to. It's the fact that you're able to speak in a way that makes people feel loved and accepted. There's something here about your communication as well. You're also very intuitive, but that's not something everybody would pick up on unless they knew anything about intuition, or something that you would have to like maybe even tell them yourself. It's like, well, I'm a very intuitive individual and I follow my intuition. So very interesting right away, but people see you as very dedicated. Also very peaceful, because with monks and nuns, I'm thinking of peaceful people, at least the ones I've known. And with student, even if you're not young, you come off as very young. Like you come off as somebody who's always willing to learn. And I think that's part of the reason people see you as youthful, because you're not like, despite your experience, despite your age, despite whatever, you're always willing to learn. And I feel like people, especially people younger than you, or people who are like newly in a position of leadership, really love that or respect that of you. It's like, it makes them feel good that you're willing to learn from them. But because I feel like you're the kind of person who'd be willing to learn from a lot of people, even people who on the onset don't seem like they know much. It's kind of like you would be the kind of person who knows that even the village idiot has some good advice to give. And that's part of the reason why you are so dedicated to obtaining knowledge here. Let's go ahead and get the rest of your cards though. How else do people view my pile 4? My Yemoja pile. I know her name, like her name is pronounced in several ways depending on where it's from. I've heard Yamaya, I've heard Yemoja, like, because there's a J here. So however you pronounce her name, you know, just take whichever one resonates with you. I'm just going to stick with what the card says. And let me know in the description below, like how she's perceived from wherever part of the world you are, if you know you've heard of her before. We have selenite, cleanse your energy field. For some of you, you take on people's energies very well, or very easily. I guess you could say that very well as well. Like maybe you do, like maybe some of you do that thing where like you try to emulate certain celebrities or certain people that you admire and see how that works out for you. But with selenite, cleanse your energy field, I feel like because you attract so many people and because people kind of are very, they kind of want, you know, they F with you. They want to F with you here. You have to make sure that you cleanse your energy field so that you're not caught up in their webs of whatever it is that they've got going on. I'm hearing that song from No Doubt. I'm walking in your spider web, so leave a message and I'll call you back. I feel like you go missing from time to time, and you do that so that you can recharge, aka cleanse that energy field, just, you know, pour back into yourself, because people do demand a lot of you. Let's go ahead and get more cards. Maybe selenite is a crystal that resonates with you as well. And I always keep a piece of selenite right over here, mostly to kind of block off like anything that's not supposed to be in the shot, but also because it's a very cleansing crystal. Let's get one more from my pile. Oh, we got moonstone. Roll with the tides of your heart. You really do listen to your heart a lot, or at the very least people feel that like you have such a loving energy. Like even if you yourself don't feel very loving or that you are a loving person, people feel this and know this about you. Like they just believe in your own heart so much that maybe they believe in it more than you do yourself, which is very interesting. I feel like, how do I want to say this? Even people who hate you have a hard time having anything against you, because they may be jealous, as you know, they may be so jealous, but when they get to talk to you, when they get to meet you, they can't find any fault with you other than, oh well, pile 4 doesn't talk to me. It's like, okay, and that's not a bad thing. Are they going out of their way to cause your life any damage? No. So if they don't like you and the worst they do to you is not talk to you, that's a blessing. You know, I wish all enemies could be that way. It's like, just don't talk to me. Just don't F with me. I feel like that's the kind of energy that you have, or that's what people see about you, pile 4, because you do have some haters out there. But like, if people try to talk bad about you, I feel like whoever they're talking to,
kind of tries to defend you, even if that person doesn't mean to. It's like, oh, you hate her? What did you, or hate him? Hey, you hate pile four? What did they do? And that person is just like, I don't know. They're very quiet, or they don't, like they try to come up with some reason to hate you, but they don't have anything. So, which is very interesting. I'm wondering if that's just like one way of you protecting yourself, is you guard your heart, or you guard some sort of, there's some guardedness here. Maybe that's what people don't like, that you don't give yourself so easily. But it's like, well, no duh. First of all, you don't know anybody anything. You don't have to be everything to everyone. I feel like you only present parts of yourself to the people that deserve it. So that explains why there's like, when I tap into how people first see you or how they feel about you, it's a little bit mixed. Like you open up to certain people very easily, and then to others, you're kind of like, yeah, I don't like that. Let me not even interact unless I need to. Okay, back of the deck we have Garnet. It's all about the baby steps. So something between this and student makes me wonder if you are currently, well, one, literally going through some sort of education, whether it's like an online class or whether it's like a literal college campus or something along those lines. And two, whatever it is that you're in, you're taking small steps to whatever it is that you're going. So people may see your progress, either they acknowledge the progress you are making, especially when you yourself don't feel that you're making any. And then certain people have been with you from like day one, and they see that you are going places, even if it's in small increments, you're going places. And I feel like sometimes that makes for a better foundation than taking big steps or big leaps or big risks, because if you take it one step at a time, one day at a time, then it's easier for you to not mess up. So something about very cautious energy here. I'm also seeing a color pattern here. We have the blue, purple, indigo, and then this green color, and then bits of red here, because this garnet almost looks like her, like this bodice or the little heart in the middle here. And that's the passion. It's a passion not everybody gets to see. We have success. Yeah, people see the success within you. And also, I'm not sure if you can see, but there's like a panther here. And look how she camouflages herself so well in this environment. Yeah, people don't see it coming, but you're meant for success here. Or maybe for those of you who have already achieved some sort of success, like whatever the success may be, people didn't see it coming. But like I said, you take small baby steps to get there. We also have transformation. So you're always transforming. It's not just a one-time thing. I feel like you're not afraid of reinventing yourself. You're not afraid of taking on new things, of starting over, making your life over. Maybe you've had to without warning, or without, you wanting to, you've had to do this. So there's a feeling here that you're not afraid to transform. It's not just about the transformation itself. It's about the fact that you understand transformation is necessary, and that you're not afraid to do so. Let's get the last of your cards from the archetype deck. For my pile 4. All right. We have the mask. Interesting. And the womb. So two things. Well, more than two things. But what people see when they first meet you is that they kind of want to know more about you, because a lot of people are aware that you have a mask, or that you don't really give a lot of yourself away right away. And this is a good thing. I feel like this is part of you keeping part of yourself to yourself. But when people first meet you, they really want to get to know you, mostly because they're nosy. I feel like you're surrounded by nosy people, or people who are just, they're bored with their life. They want to know about everybody else. But two, it's kind of like people know there's a little bit more to you than you present yourself. And they're just very curious, especially because there's something about your energy or your appearance that makes them feel like there's more to you. You might just have a very unique appearance, whether that's for the area you are in, or you just decide to dress that way. There's something very unique to your appearance, so they feel that it's a mask. It's like, well, what's behind that? I want to get to know pile 4 for real. And maybe in the past you've done that. You had your mask up and you let it down, but then you realize that not everybody should have the privilege of getting to know you that well, because either they've taken you for granted, they've used you, or whatever it is that they've done. There's something there about you understanding that your energy is precious, your exclusivity is precious, and you should keep it that way. So you don't open up very easily to everyone. You kind of sift through them. With the womb, though, there is a feeling here. Well, like I said, you do have like a very understated sensual appeal to certain people. But the womb makes me think that people would love to see you either as a parent, if you're not already a parent, that is, and two, that there's something you could create here. There's something like people feel that there's a lot of potential with and for you. So either people like want to start like businesses or endeavors with you, or they feel that, you know, with your help they could attain success somehow because they've seen you attain success. But also the womb being like a vessel for transformation here makes sense, because we take, you know, we take that seed, it incubates there for 9 months or so, and then something like human life comes out of it. So there's quite literally, there's scorpionic energy here, because I'm thinking of like death and rebirth. So there's something here about you being able to transform something. Quite literally, you could just be the kind of person who transmutes energy within a room without you realizing it, or maybe you do realize it and you do it intentionally. But there's something here that people understand that if they were to give you a project or if they were to give you an endeavor, it would be in good hands. So this is rather beautiful that people do, they want to give you some sort of responsibility. And I'm not sure if this is intentional or unintentional. Like maybe some of you are okay with this because, you know, you can take it on, and some of you maybe you're just like, no, that's not something I want. But people really want to offer you a lot of things. And overall, this energy, it's very mature. Like it's very lovely as well. I feel like you're surrounded by people who are either older than you, or just you make it a point to be in an energy where you know you will not be taken advantage of. I feel like you don't get along with people of your age group too much, though. Either they're way younger or way older, whichever makes more sense, because the way you are being presented within this reading is that of like being very respected, very very highly respected, or protected, whichever one makes more sense. Like even if you are in an environment that isn't that great, I feel like your ancestors, angels, guides, whoever it is that you spiritually call on, they protect you very severely. It's like, no, take care of pile 4. They're meant for great things. So I feel like overall, like not saying that you haven't had struggles or a hard life, maybe you have, but like currently the energy is that nothing can harm you, or that people cannot harm you to the extent that maybe they had at one point in the past, which is very interesting. What else do we need from this? If this sounds like you, then let's go ahead and move on to the tarot, because I want to get a little bit more specific with what people think about you. Overall though, this is like, yeah, either you are like if you're not a student yourself, you could also be a teacher, because teachers are eternal students. Like every good teacher will tell you this, that they never stop learning, so they're always student, both literally because they have to, you know, they want to just keep learning more, and not so literally because they learn so much from their students. But let's go ahead and get the tarot portion for pile 4. So the tarot portion is going to be a little bit more specific. The first section is going to be how people in general view you, like their first impressions of what they think of you. Of course, this could also be my pile of people who don't get out much. Like the people who may see you are just like a select few. For my pile 4. The second one's going to be friends. Third is family. Fourth is colleagues or peers. Colleagues, coworkers, peers, fellow students, for those of you who are students. And then the last one is going to be romantic. Okay, so for my pile 4. So we have 7 of Cups. This is being able to work hard for whatever it is that you want. I was told not to take that reversed. Yeah, they see you as very hardworking and very dedicated. We also have Divine Feminine, but also very... yeah, there's like a beauty to you. People really love your energy. There's like even if they don't say it out loud, or even if it's something that isn't mentioned too much to your face, there is a beauty to you that people truly enjoy. It's like either you just dress up really nice, or you smell, for some of you, you smell really nice. There's some aspect of your physical appearance, of your physical presence that people find very beautiful, even if it's just your energy. And people do not have to understand energy to understand energy, if that makes sense. Like they do not have to be aware of how energy works in order for them to understand it. Let's go ahead and get cards for how your friends view you, how they perceive you. We have 7 of Swords. So
either you don't really speak to your friends anymore because there's been like some sort of betrayal in the past. So like the friends you do have, it's very rare and few. You could take it either that way, or the other way to see it is that people see you as very secretive. Like even to your friends, you don't always tell them what's going on. I feel like a lot of you don't have many friends. Maybe you're just going through a period in time right now where there's certain trust issues or even communication problems. Like there might be a group of friends that you're distancing yourself from because I'm getting like you know when you have a group of friends and you know they're not great and somehow over time they've just gotten worse, or due to certain circumstances you've just had to move away. That's what I'm seeing. So the way your friends see you is that you've betrayed them, or that they feel that you're too good for them now, or that you're hiding so many secrets. And it's kind of, yeah, like there's a sense of heartbreak here as well. It's like, why would your friends think that of you? So you no longer mess with them. Unfortunately, take that only if it resonates. I feel like that's not going to be everybody. Even if you do still speak to certain friends, or like most of your friends, there could be some situation here where there's like too much gossip or too much negative talking. Like, you know, when people get together and all they do is gossip, that's what I'm getting. So maybe they see you as a gossip or something along those lines. But this is very unfortunate. I feel like for a lot of you, this may not be a current friend group if that's the case, because it's very interesting. It's very opposite to the rest of your energy and how the rest of the world views you. This would make sense if you've moved away, like physically moved away and have not kept in contact with them. All right, so for your family, how does your family view you? We have Seeker of Pentacles. So they see you as somebody who's always striving for better, always trying to get your, always trying to find your footing, always trying to start something here. I feel like your family sees you as very reliable, but still in the beginning phases. So this would be somebody who has either, like your family would have seen you as somebody who has recently started a career or a job, or maybe you've currently acquired like a home or something of value here. They see you as working towards your goals. So, which is always great. It's very practical energy. I feel like maybe you even come from a family who has helped you set up this particular situation, regardless of how that ended up, or whether it was like through an inheritance, or maybe they helped you buy a home, like maybe for a down payment or something here. But with your family, they definitely see your progress financially, and or they're like a backbone of your finances. And this is okay. There's nothing wrong with that. It's just like, I feel like people are also aware of this, especially if they know, if they know your family and that your family comes from like a privileged background, or your family just has some sort of business. Interesting that it got like, it's getting darker and darker as I talk about your family here. Very interesting. We'll clarify that. We'll see why that is. I do sense some jealousy though. Like people feel, you know how some people just hate the rich kid because their family has money, but it's not their fault. Like the kid is just born into it. So like, why would you get annoyed with the rich kid? Not for their personality or anything, but just for their privilege. That's what I'm seeing for some of you. Again, this doesn't have to resonate. Even if you yourself don't feel that your family is that wealthy, maybe people around you see the privileges. That's what I'm seeing. Because yeah, I've seen that where people don't really come from money, but their family, maybe they travel a lot because, you know, a parent works at an airport and therefore they get to travel all over the world. So people assume things about that family. That's what I'm seeing for some of you. So take it how it resonates. Let's see how your colleagues, your coworkers, your peers see you. We have the Conqueror of Wands. They see you as very adventurous. They see you as like always having a good story to tell, or like always up for a challenge. Like you're not afraid to take on certain things. This would explain that warrior energy that I was feeling earlier. Like your colleagues and peers really do love your energy. Like they feel you have a lot more energy than most people, like physical energy, willing to take on certain things. And they love your go-getter energy. They love that, there's just something about you that they find very exciting. So I feel like they enjoy you. They like having you around because you're a burst of fresh air to them, especially, like I said, if you work with older people or maybe even younger people. Especially if you work with younger people, they're always surprised by like your youthfulness, the adventures you take. Like they want to be like you. Very interesting. Also, a side note, and this will not be everybody, maybe
I don't know if it's within your workspace, or this could also be like your educational space, like a campus. People, you have a reputation for getting around, which I don't think is a bad thing. Like I said, there's like a certain physical attraction to you, and people either assume this of you or they have seen this of you, and I don't think there's anything wrong with that. I think they think it's adorable, especially at your age, or at, you know, whatever it is that you've got going on. If you're single and just, you know, you're having fun, then you're having fun. They like this about you. They love your energy here. Um, which is fun, and it's great because I feel like with both friends, yeah, and look how much brighter it got now. We'll tap into that family energy and that friendship energy in a minute, because I kind of want to know what people think about you. And then your romantic, the romantic aspect. How do people view you romantically? So yeah, you have a lot of people have a crush on you. It's very easy to crush on you, pile 5, because of your physical attraction, because again, that loving energy, people just, there's something about you that even if people can't put into words, they love that. A lot of people have a crush on you. With the Page of Cups here. Page of Cups is crush energy. I want to get one more here. We also have, yeah, 10 of Cups. I'm being told not to take it reversed because there's something about you being at peace with dating. So whether you're single, whether you're already in a relationship, you're just happy with where your love life is right now. So if you are non-committed, I feel like you enjoy going on dates. You enjoy, you know, being pursued or pursuing, whichever it is that you do here. You're okay with that. It's like, yeah, of course, I'm at the prime of my life. I'm going to be dating. I'm going to have fun. You do inspire jealousy, though. You do inspire jealousy, so just watch out with the people that you date, because it's very interesting. Let's go ahead and move on. I'm hearing specifically, you might be in a particular, you may not realize this, or maybe you do. You're in a particular circle, a group of people, and I feel like you're dating more than one of them, or have dated more than one of them within a specific amount of time, that they might be talking about you. Mostly good things, though. I think specifically good things. Like, I don't know, it's cute. It's like, oh, you have the privilege of being with pile 4. Wow, what's that like? Because you're very selective, believe it or not. 10 of Cups, you know your options, but you're selective. Let's go ahead and clarify these energies. How do people in general view you? We have the 6 of Cups. They do see you as like either very youthful, or you may remind them of their childhood. This makes me think of the inner child, and people like this. It's like very sweet energy. This could also mean that you're good with children, even if you don't, regardless of whether you want them or if you have them. You might just be very good with kids, especially because they, you know, kids, they feel energy without realizing it. Kids are very psychic and intuitive up to a certain age. So they feel that within you. So when kids call you, you know, when they think you're cool or when they think you're beautiful and pretty, they really do mean it, because they don't just see your physical appearance, they see your aura. So I feel like kids are just very naturally drawn to you, which is always very sweet. Yeah, there's something childlike about your energy, and people truly love this about you as well. So I feel like, you know, it's game recognizing game. When you see a kid, it's like, oh, you like to have fun, I like to have fun too. So it's very sweet. Maybe you actually work with kids, or maybe you have like nieces and nephews or your own kids, and you know, they all love and adore you. Pets as well. I think like you might be that person that dogs naturally just want to go up to and be petted by, even if there's other people around. That's very sweet. Let's go ahead and get clarifier for your friends. And this could be either the same friends that we had this deceptive energy from, or secretive energy, and or another set of friends, whichever comes through. We have 4 of Cups. Yeah, I feel like you may miss certain friends, because there's something about your social situation right now. It's not great. Maybe, like I said, if you moved away from your old group of friends, they feel like you've left them behind. They may even feel betrayed, which I know sounds odd, but some friends, they just get jealous whenever people move away, and they take it personally that for whatever reason, you decided to go do something else, as if you don't have the choice to go do something else. You know, if you're going to follow a career elsewhere, you're very much entitled to that. And anybody who's truly a friend will be happy for you. You know, it's that kind of energy. I love it when my friends go off and do stuff. I love that they go on to new adventures and hope that they post online so I can at least, you know, get to see part of it. It's that kind of energy, because true friends, you know, you never lose contact with them. You never stop talking to them, no matter where they are in the world. But part of you kind of wishes either that things had gone down differently, or that you had remained close to certain people. And I'm here to tell you, like true friends know that distance means nothing. True friends know, especially in today's day and age, you can FaceTime anybody, like, you know, in a snap. Um, so if there's anybody that you've left behind, I'm trying to say this as like nicely as possible, pile four, because a lot of you are kind of more heartbroken over the friendships than anything. You will make better friends, you will find better friends, and if some of these friends want to forgive you, or if there has like, if there's any an air to clear, an energy to clear here between you and another person, it will happen. Just give them their space and stuff, because I feel like you're taking this a little bit more hard than you should, because there's a lot of love to you, and I feel like you wouldn't want there to be any misunderstandings or miscommunications. So it's very interesting. This is how they're seeing it. I feel like some people are still holding on to you energetically as well. Another way of taking that, of course, is if you still feel your friend's gucky energy on you, even if they're an amazing friend, even if, you know, they're a really nice person, their energy may not always be that way. So you may want to, oh, that's where that card came in, the cleanse your energy field. Is that what you got? Oh, where is it? Oh, there she is. Yeah. Cleanse your energy of this, or whoever these people are, your friends, cleanse that energy, because it's not fair. Well, one, it's not fair for you to take that on. That's their own baggage. And two, if you ever want anything to be there, you want to come in with a fresh energy and a fresh perspective. All right, let's move on to family though. And family is very interesting. How else does your family see you? I keep getting brought to financial situations with the family. What is that? Like, especially if you've currently acquired something, they want you to do, like, low key, it could be a little bit controlling, not gonna lie. Like, if you've currently come into like either a lot of money, an inheritance, or something here, like they want you to do something with it. Two of Cups. Am I meant to take this reversed though? Because I know I wasn't taking anything else reversed. No, okay. They want you to be surrounded by good people. If you're not already married, they want you to marry the right person. They see you, yeah, I feel like your family sees you as like going on a lot of dates and getting around. Even if you think that you're keeping it very hidden from your family, that you're going out with certain people, your family, especially like whichever parent is more intuitive with you, it's not always the mom, sometimes it's the dad. Whichever parent is the more intuitive one, or grandparent, aunt, uncle, whoever, you know, whoever takes care of you, they know. They know, and I know this. Okay, so I've been on like, this is the way it works. Like, I would date people and they wouldn't tell their parents about it, because, you know, it was just a casual thing, a date, like one date, but then we would be, you know, just having a good time, and then suddenly, boom, mom calls in out of nowhere, and it's like, and I would even ask, like, did you tell your mom we were doing this? It's like, no. Did you tell her we were going on a date? It's like, no, that's odd that she's calling at this time, because I told her I'd be with friends. So clearly that mom had like a very strong gut intuition. This is how your family is, specifically about your love life. So your family is watching who you date, who you associate with. I'm not sure why. I feel like your family may have ulterior motives. So I would just be wary of whatever advice they give you, which is very interesting. It's odd that it's so specific for this pile, because I feel like not every pile has gotten this specific. Back of the deck of the Star. Yeah, like your family has aspirations for you that may not be your own. Also, Aquarius energy is coming through here. So if you have any Aquariuses in your family, especially them. Look, I love Aquarius energy so much. I do. But I've noticed as Aquariuses get older, and especially when they have kids, they will have certain expectations for those kids that they may or may not tell them about. But they're there. It's kind of like they put it out there, and sometimes the kids follow them, sometimes they don't. I think it all depends on like the relationship with the parent, or who that parent may be. Very interesting. So yeah, especially if you have an Aquarian parent, keep that in mind. Let's go ahead and move on to your colleagues though, to your peers and coworkers. Maybe your parents have even tried to set you up with somebody. Oh, especially if you come from like a culture where arranged marriage is still a thing. Maybe that's also something they're looking out for. Yeah, I'm hearing make the right choice. It's like, okay. Okay, pile 4. We have the Ace of Cups reversed. Am I meant to take this reversed? You're making a lot of new friendships in your workplace, and maybe you hesitated because you're like, oh, there's nobody here that I really want to be friends with. But then I feel like you may meet certain people outside of work and you realize that they're actually very different, or that they have a lot of advice to offer you, or that outside of the workspace, they're actually a lot more like you than you realize. It's just that they've had to take on a persona at work. This may not be for everybody, but for a lot of you, you may make a lot of new friends at work or a lot of new connections. This could also be, of course, be networking. People want to befriend you. People want to get to know you outside of work as well. I feel like this is why this will happen. And I feel like, especially with like certain bosses want to get to know you outside of work. Or whoever, if not your boss, like whoever's like right above you, a manager, supervisor, whatever. I feel like, especially if they're close to your age group, they want to get to know you because they find you very interesting. And then romance-wise, yeah, maybe some of these old friends that you've lost, you're going to make up with it with new colleagues that will become your friends. Okay, romance-wise, how do people view you? Four of Swords. Oh, geez. Okay, so in the Rider-Waite, it's the person laying down in a bed. This under romance, I feel like you can put 2 and 2 together here. A lot of people would love to take you to bed. Let's just put it that way. Pile 4. There is something very, you're very physically attractive and you don't even realize it. Or even if you don't consider yourself to be conventionally attractive, there's something about your energy, either the way you carry yourself or like your body language that makes people just really want to know what you are like. These are very explicit messages I'm getting from the romance section, which is very interesting. You just might be like a knockout. Honestly, I feel like you just have a very attractive body. You're a very attractive person. And even though you yourself try to focus on like everything else, people can't help but like really, really fall for you. I want to get one more. Something that isn't 18 plus, please. We have the 7 of Wands. You're very defensive. You're like, I feel like you're very guarded when it comes to romance, either because you're not interested in it, or maybe you're just not looking right now. Maybe you're just focused on other things. I feel like you still might be open to dating casually, but nothing serious. But 7 of Wands reversed, you, either you have a hard time like rejecting people because you don't want to come off as mean, or you're just or you feel the need to sometimes be a little, like, it could be either or. Either you're really mean and just like have this protective energy around you, like it's like, no, I'm not interested, sorry. Or you're the other way, which is like, I'm not into you, but we'll be friends, we'll keep it casual. I just see this energy as a no. As like a big no. So maybe you're trying to be in a very specific energy where you're not really pursuing anything or anyone. Like you're open to casual dates, but that's about it. I don't feel like you're looking for a relationship. Back of the deck, we have Queen of Swords. You're very smart. You're very intelligent. And either like people don't really notice this until it's too late or until they really get to know you, or you just hide it very well, because this would be my pile of people who understand that giving away all their intelligence isn't a good tactic. It's like, let them think you're dumb for a little bit. Let them think that you don't know what's going on for a little bit. And then once, ish hits the fan, give it to them. That's what I'm seeing. So very, like, I love this energy, pile 4. Also, this is so far like my longest group. Let me get moving. You might be very talkative as well, because I feel like I couldn't stop like getting downloads and messages and energy for you, pile 4. So yeah, very interesting energy. Let's go ahead and move on to your closing advice though. But overall, people have lots of opinions about you. I'm gonna start with, no, not this one. The Inner Goddess Oracle deck for my pile 4. But also very strong air energy, Libra, Gemini, Aquarius. Speaking of Aquarius, we have Starborn. So a lot of you, like the way people view you is that you're destined for greatness. You're destined for something amazing. There's also something about your energy that is just very uplifting. Like they definitely see you as a star. In fact, there's a card within the archetype deck that is called the Starborn, and I forget which pile that came out in, but you may be coming from that pile as well. And here it says, even the sun doesn't know it's a star. Yeah. Like you don't realize the potential you have within you to be something amazing, and people truly love this about you. And or they may just assume that you're already, like you've already made it somehow. Let's go ahead and get these are channeled messages. They're meant to be romantic, but I'm reading these a little bit more platonically here. So pile 4, we have, I feel like you're cheating on me with someone else. Look, people, like I said, if you're dating within a particular group, be careful because you might be dating two people casually, but they see it as, oh, you're cheating. It's like, but no, there's no cheating here because no one's committed and I'm just going on a date with this person who you happen to know. That's what I'm seeing. Do be careful with that, okay? Because I don't want you to get in trouble with some of these dates that you're having. Because you're dating a lot of people, maybe within the same space. We also have, from the moment I saw you, I knew you were the one. Look, you are a lot of people's, like, people may fall in love with you on the spot. People may fall in love with you either at first glance, at first conversation, at first whatever. Like, there's something about you that is just easy to fall for, easy to fall in love with. Oh, okay, that one. I'm torn between you and someone else. Love triangle. Some of you may be going through a love triangle, not gonna lie. Like, maybe there's some romantic competition here. But I feel like you're at the center of it. Like, it's not you're being put in a third party situation. It's that you're entertaining two people. Do be careful with that pile 4, because sometimes when you have a situation like that, you end up losing both. And maybe you didn't want to lose one or the other here. If that's not the case, again, somebody here thinks that you're committed to them, but you're actually not. So let's go ahead and get more cards. Pile 4, I see where you're wanting to avoid the romantic situation. I feel like you're like, let me see how everybody else thinks about me. It's like, nope. You've got romantic stuff going on. Pay attention to it. We also have, I am going to propose to you. I want to marry you. For those of you who think you're not going to get married, well, I'm not saying that you will if you don't want to, but somebody's going to try to propose. Maybe you've already had people propose to you. Yeah, maybe some of you have already had people propose and you've had to say, no, not yet, I'm not ready, or I want this, and that before I get married. All right, pile. Also, we have number 21 here. Somebody here could be 21. From the Sacred Creators Oracle. Lead your metamorphosis. Like I said, you're not afraid of change, and maybe you are currently going through some sort of transformation that is hard to ignore. And maybe that's part of the reason you're not really interested in romance, or you're not, you may not have friends right now, something along those lines. Like, you're going through a change that the people that you are closest to may not recognize you after this. We have make a mission statement for your soul. This has come out in a lot of these piles. So there's something here about your mission statement. The way I'm seeing this, though, is that create a life purpose. What is your purpose in life? Maybe write this down. Maybe make a mood board about it, because there's something here that you want to do and accomplish. Ooh. Okay, so my chakras started lighting up whenever I said that. Yeah, some of you have like really creative tendencies and you're bringing those to fruition here. I'm feeling this specifically in like the solar and the sacral chakras here. So there's something about you doing something, like you're going to create something. Yeah, like it's in my solar plexus now very strongly. Interestingly. Okay, let's get one more. Find your sacred flow. Yeah, and with sacred, I'm thinking of sacral. So there's something here about finding a flow with your life. I like this color pattern too. It's beautiful. It's like a purpley, what does it look like? Yeah, I like that. In fact, all of these colors are very harmonious here. Maybe you're an artist, or maybe you're just good at figuring out color patterns. Okay, so let's get your runes. Is this my group of people who lose track of time very easily? Because I'm finding it hard to stay focused. We have Hagalas. This is disruption. We have Wunjo, joy, and Gebo, which is also considered marriage, but it could also be a gift. I'm thinking specifically like a proposal or something where like a gift is exchanged, and because this gift is exchanged, there's like a bond between you and somebody else. That's what I'm seeing here. So I feel like you will come into some sort of bond with somebody important, whether that's a romantic partner, a friend, or a business partner. You will come into some sort of bond, and this will bring a lot of joy. And the Haglas disruption lets me know that if previously you were disrupted from some sort of life path or a relationship or a friendship, it's because you were meant for something better, or whoever those people were about to go through something there's something heavy that you had nothing to do with that. So yeah, like I said, I feel like some of you are mourning something you have lost, but what's coming for you is a lot better. But this is where I leave it, pile 4. Thank you so much for letting me read for you. If you feel like doing so, you can like, comment, and subscribe, and I will see you in the next reading. Take care.
Hello there, pile 5. If you chose the rose quartz and the goddess Lakshmi, then we have your reading here for you about people's first impressions of you, what they first think or see whenever they meet you, and any other opinions they may have about you, like what they think about you. So we're going to go ahead and look at the oracles to see the overall view, and then we're going to go into the tarot, and that's going to give us a more precise view of the types of people and how they view you. So let's go ahead and look at the card you chose. You chose the goddess Lakshmi, the goddess of abundance. I choose to feel abundant. Wealth is an inside job. So there's something very luxurious about you. Let's put it that way. You could be the kind of person that anytime you go out, you dress really nice, or you always have, like a full set of makeup, or you wear like really expensive cologne, or you accessorize in such a way that there's something about you that gives luxury. Even if you yourself don't have a lot of money, maybe you just like to dress really, really well. I know in certain cultures, like this is a thing because like I live in the US and we're all about casual, we're all about comfort. Like, yes, we do have people who, they do luxury well, but I'm thinking of certain cultures, like when I go to Mexico, people always dress really nice. The women are always in heels, their makeup's always done. They have, there's just something about that kind of lifestyle. Maybe you have a culture like that, or maybe that's just how you choose to be, regardless of whatever your background may be. So there's something very luxe about you. Lux? How do you say that? Lux. I guess Lux about you. I'm here trying to speak different languages, but there's something about you that's also a little bit worldly. Maybe you are very well traveled, or you come from a certain place, because I did feel the need to bring up certain like different environments here. But let's go ahead and get the rest of your cards. Yeah, I think especially if you come from a place where it's natural to dress up a little bit nicer when you go out, even if it's just the grocery store, and you live in an environment where people don't dress up as much, that's giving that energy. Because like I said, where I live, at least it's normal for people to go out in their pajamas. I feel like, small town America might be a little bit more like that. Let's get your cards, pile 5. Also, there's an air of beauty to you. There's definitely some sort of beauty that comes along with this, either because you pay for good looks or because you just are naturally good looking and everything that you wear really enhances this. There's an emphasis here on visual appearance for this particular group. We have purification. And we also have truth. There's a bit of a contrast here. It's kind of like people wonder that if you didn't wear everything that you wore, would you still look just as attractive? Which I know seems like it's kind of an annoying thought to have, honestly, because there's something here where like maybe certain people wish they would see you with like less nice clothes, or maybe something a little bit more down to earth. That's not everybody. There's people out there who really appreciate the effort you put into how you look, but then there's certain people, I think the ones who are a little bit more jealous or whatever, who are like, well, I think if they didn't have all the XYZ that they wear, they would just look like everybody else. So there's something about that here. With purification, though, I feel like for you, dressing up nice is like a ritual for you to feel like yourself. Like if you don't, go through your routine every day of either doing your skincare, makeup, clothing, whatever the situation is, you don't feel complete. I know some people do this. Like if they don't wear a specific kind of clothing, they just feel weird. Some people do that with certain clothes. Like for me, I can't wear open toe shoes. They just feel weird to me, unless it's like the middle of summer and it's really hot, or I'm going to the beach. I just feel weird showing my feet. It doesn't matter where I live. It doesn't matter what the weather is. Like, unless it's a very specific occasion. It's just, I feel like you might have something similar. Like if you don't wear your mascara every day, you feel naked. Or if you don't wear a certain cologne or perfume, you feel just odd. There's something here about your appearance. Like it's your identity, and you hold on closely to that, but other people, either they really like it or they really love it. I think it's a little bit polarizing. With truth, though, there's something about your energy that feels very honest to yourself. So even if other people don't like it, you don't care. That's very much you. Whatever you do to yourself, there's something here that you feel is like yourself. For some of you, and I know this isn't everybody, if you've gotten cosmetic work done, this to me is your truth. There's a movie I watched. I forget what it was called, but there was a woman who had work done, and she was very honest about it. And she's like, well, I had it done because the person that I became after that feels more like me. The me that I see in the mirror with this work done feels like the person I am meant to be, not the person that you saw before. So that's owning up to your truth and how you feel and look about yourself, which is very odd that I'm having like this. Maybe you've had the need to defend your decisions and how you look here, pile 5. But let's go ahead and get the rest of your cards. Because with purification and truth, it's kind of like you feel that you are true to yourself, but other people may just think that you do too much. And that's not your problem, pile 5. I feel like that's other people's problem. So from my pile 5, we have child eternal, determination to remain young in body, mind, and spirit, ability to see things with fresh eyes. So there is something here about you having like a very youthful look to you, whether that's natural or whether that's something you choose. Like if you decide to do Botox, that's okay. Like that's just you wanting to remain looking a certain age. And for a lot of you, you may already naturally look very younger than you are. There's also something about your personality that is very youthful. Like it's not just your appearance, it could also be your mind. Maybe you're very progressive thinking, or you tend to really support the ideas of people younger than you because you believe that they deserve to have their voice be heard here. This is giving strong like teacher energy as well. So maybe some of you could be a teacher, or maybe you're just around a lot of people younger than yourself. Let's get another one. We also have hero, heroine, a passion for a journey of personal empowerment, a shadow attribute, escapism, and a false sense of heroism. I do feel that you are seen as a bit of a hero or heroine in your particular, to certain people, like they really admire you for the things that you've gone through. Like it's, to some people, they see past your, your physical appearance and they just think it's very inspiring, the things you've gone through, especially if you've come from very specific environments that maybe that weren't the best or were not the greatest. Like you have a lot of love for your past, but you understand that it was something that you couldn't stay in because it wasn't the best. But you really do inspire certain people, especially if it's like a rags to riches story or maybe even a Cinderella story here. People really do look up to you and they may even ask you how you got out of your situation. There's kind of like a mentor energy here as well. Maybe you take on maybe you mentor people without realizing it. Let's go ahead and get more cards. I will say this, people feel like you're not a person of many words, but when you do speak, you make sure that you speak things that are important. Like you don't like to waste your time talking about negative things, even if your life itself has been negative or if your past has been negative. We have rhodochrosite, heal that broken heart. Yeah, that's what I was feeling. Like there is a broken heart within you, but nobody will ever really see that. That's not something you share. I'm getting strong Leo energy from this particular pile. Even if you're not a Leo, you might have very strong Leo placements. And kyanite, tune into your inner truth. So the fact that truth came out twice, people wonder whether you tell the truth or not, because some of your story or some of your background might be a little hard to believe, at least to them. Because with hero and heroine, I'm also getting of like main character energy, like things just happen to you. And some people are like, there's no way that can actually happen to pile 5. Like there's no way all this stuff always happens. But I feel like you just might be a very lucky person, or you make the world work for you in a way that, leads to you having a very interesting life here. I'm thinking of like when you read the backstory of certain celebrities, like actresses or models, or they're already very beautiful and they're already very successful, but then you hear their life story and it's just tragic, or something very interesting, and people are like, there's no way, that they probably made that up to make her seem interesting. But the truth is that's actually their story. So something along those lines. Maybe some of you actually have a public appearance and there's kind of like a whole mythology around you, but you only ever speak the truth. Like even when you embellish things, you don't embellish it by much. If anything, this would be my pile of people who have to downplay some of their background so people don't start thinking crazy things about you. Maybe there's certain stories you just don't tell because it's like, you know what, people aren't going to believe that, or you know what, that's not going to make me look good. Let me just not say it. But yeah, which is very interesting. Pile 5. Let's get the rest of your cards. We have Apocalypse. This makes me think of like there's been at least one very catastrophic event within your life that you may or may not share with people. And this is the biggest thing that has led to like a big change in your life. For some of you, it might have been more than one, but for a lot of you, you can remember the time that you decided you were going to stop being that past version of yourself or stop holding on to the past story and then move forward with something new. You really had to make an effort to let it go, though, because apocalypse makes me think of quite literally the apocalypse here, but in this case, it's of your life. So you may or may not share this story with everybody. The people that you do share it with, you're very selective about who you tell what, because I feel like telling the truth in the past has led you to have some sort of backlash, believe it or not, because I feel like this is my pile of people who you just live such an incredible life, and even your appearance gives this off. But whenever you've had to share your story, like there's been a backlash or people just react in a weird way. And I'm here to tell you this has nothing to do with you and more everything to do with them and what they accept as, what a proper story for a person like you should be, which I know seems weird. It's a very interesting energy. Who are you surrounded by, pile 5? Like I said, you inspire, like you polarize people, both in a good way and a bad way. Like some people really adore you and love you for the things you've gone through and how you are. And then some people are just like, they're all know about you for whatever reason. It's very interesting. Okay. We also have Anima Mundi. So whenever I get this card, this is somebody who's very content with their life. You are very happy with your life where you are. Not saying that you're not going to strive for more when the opportunity arises or that you don't have dreams and goals that you want to achieve, but you are somebody who is very happy with your life. Of course, you could also give off this vibe, and this could explain why some people don't like you. When some people meet a person that is just very content and happy with their life, they start feeling some sort of way because they themselves are not happy with their life or they're not content. Even if they have more than you, even if they on the surface seem like they have a better life than you, they're just not happy because you may have something that either they want or you have a determination, some personality, or some sort of trait that they could never have even if they wanted to. And that's what bothers them. It's like maybe it could be something as simple as maybe you're younger than them, or maybe you just have a stronger work ethic than them. Maybe, to the people, like for some of you, it's somebody who is very lazy and they could never have that kind of grit that you have to actually do things here. Like maybe this person, let's say, and here's an example. Let's say you do like to do your makeup really nice and very beautiful and it's always on point. It's always, you're always slaying. But then there's somebody here who hates you for it. And the truth is they can go out there, buy makeup, start looking good, start, trying to get like you, but instead they don't want to, so they're just going to hate you. So that's what I'm seeing. That's an example. That doesn't have to be the case. Could also be your body. Maybe you have an amazing body and you work really hard toward it because you work out every day. And this person, rather than do the same thing and try to get their best body, they're just going to hate you. So I feel like you're surrounded by haters, unfortunately. But there's also a lot of people who love you. For as many people who hate you, there's like 2 or 3 more times as people who love you. It's just, I feel like you're here to see why certain people react the way they do to you, pile 5. So let's get another one. We have the unseen. Some people feel that there's a lot more to you that you're not showing or explaining, but with the truth cards, I feel like you're very transparent. Despite your appearance, despite your background, you're very transparent. Even if people were to ask about the hardest things in your life, you would share it with them if you knew that they could handle it. You're not going to tell it to everybody, of course, because that's your business. But if you were to share that with them, like you would have no problem with that. But you're a very honest person. And some people don't want to believe that you're very honest because, I don't know, there's this energy about you being like very childlike in that, you know how children are just very innocent and they will tell anybody anything? That's what I'm getting from you, pile 5. Despite your appearance, despite how you may actually look, despite your broken heart even. And then let's get the last cards. So how do people view you? You have like a group of absolute fans that love you. They absolutely love you. But the one that's coming in stronger are the haters, not because their energy is stronger, but because for some reason you're more curious about why they dislike you so much.
And I'm just here to remind you, don't worry about them. That's their problems. Like, they've got their own issues to work through. And if I was to point out every single person, it'd be something different. But for the majority of them, it's envy. There's a lot of envy here. So let's go ahead and get your cards, your last cards here. For my pile 5. We have loving. Yes, you have a very loving energy about you. Like, the people who do adore you, they feel the love. They feel the, like, even though, yes, you might be a very, for this pile, I'm feeling a conventional beauty. Like, if people were to objectively say anything about you, you are very beautiful. With or without, you know, the glam, whatever it is that you put on to make you look that way. Because there's something very loving about your heart. Your soul is very loving. Your soul is beautiful. So let's get another. I'm hearing 2 more cards. We have the goddess. Yeah, for a lot of you, there's something about your connection to the divine, but also you may actually look like a goddess and or god here, depending on your gender, how you identify. But there's something about your connection to source, your spirituality, that makes you very beautiful as well. And people may sense some sort of spiritual feeling about you, but that's not something you show to everybody. Maybe it's something that you keep to yourself, because you might be one of those people who understands that connection to source, to the universe, to God. Your spirituality is something very sacred and private for you. I know I used to think that way a lot, so I understand that energy. Like, I understand that's how you are. Of course, I've become more open about it because I have a tarot channel, but for you, you may still keep this very close and guarded to your heart. Let's get one more. We have solitary. So here's the interesting thing. People think that you are always in a relationship because of how you look, because of your... There's something about you that people would assume, oh, you're clearly married in a relationship, etc., because of how you dress and everything. But the truth is, you're actually, regardless of whether you are or not, you can be or you may not be, you're okay being on your own. You're okay being independent. You actually don't need anybody else's money. Like, people may assume you have like a spouse that covers everything because of your lifestyle, but the truth is you make your own money, and this is how you actually are. Or even if you don't, you would still be fine. You have the resources to cover everything here. There's something about you spending a lot of time alone as well. Whether because this is how you choose to be, maybe you just enjoy having time alone, or because you may be in a connection relationship where, you know, your spouse does spend a lot of time, or partner spends a lot of time, you know, traveling or working, etc. There's something here about you being a lot more alone than people may assume you are. Like, some people think that you're always surrounded by people, that you always have like a, I don't know, like you're always going on dates because you're just so breathtaking. There's something very attractive about you. But the truth is, you're actually not. You prefer more time alone, or with friends, or with your children, if you have any, your fur babies. Like, you spend a lot of your time alone. And I think people would be surprised to find this out, that no, you're not going out every weekend. You are probably more than likely spending it at home, doing whatever, or maybe just traveling on your own as well. Maybe you do go on dates with yourself. So I feel like people really, really do misread you. I think out of all the piles, this is the one pile where I'm like, wow, people's opinions versus what I'm seeing energetically here are so different. And the main reason being is because they assume so much about you due to how you dress, or how you appear, or your makeup, or your cologne, accessories, whatever it is. It doesn't match you as a person, as an individual, as your energy, at least to them. I think to the right people, to like your close friends and to people who truly adore you and know you well, like, they understand that yes, you like to glam it up, but that doesn't mean that you're superficial. Quite far from it. You're not superficial. You're actually very deep and very understanding and very loving. This is giving me like, I'm also thinking of a very mature energy. Even though we have like a lot of childlike cards here, you're a very mature person, either in mentality or in actual age, but that youthful glow is still within you, because you really do believe that like the children are the future, or something along those lines. Like, you believe that young people need to be heard because you understand they will be the ones to take care of you when you become older. Or maybe you yourself have a lot of children and you see how they are, and you want you know, a better future for them. You don't want them to have to suffer the things that you've had to suffer through. Because like I said, for some of you, you have a deep, dark past that you may or may not share with everybody. So I really love this energy as well. The goddess of abundance as well. I'm thinking a lot of you, like I said, you have money, you have your own money, and you don't need anybody else's. And I feel like this comes from, I feel like at some point in your life, you had to financially depend on somebody that wasn't great to you. So you made it a point to make it that you make your own money. That's not everybody. Maybe that person could have been your parents, and maybe your parents weren't great. But regardless, there's something here about you creating your own abundance. So if this sounds like an energy that you're dealing with, I want to see more about how people view you, because I was being told to focus on your energy, because it's kind of like the energy that I'm feeling on the outside is people wanting to project some sort of story onto you that actually isn't very you, and that's not fair. So we're going to see why people think this way, as well as like how maybe even why they think this way. For my pile 5, we're going to be looking at the tarot more in depth to see the kinds of people who view you in what ways. The first one is going to be in general, like in general, how do people see you? The second one is going to be your friends. Third one's going to be family. Fourth is going to be colleagues, co-workers, people that you work with. And the fifth one is going to be romantically, how do people view you? Like I said, you're very attractive, like conventionally attractive. So that's very interesting. Like people just know that you're a beautiful person, but I feel like you don't get a lot of suitors for several reasons. Like I said, some of you could be in a relationship and they just know, like, yeah, pile 5 is married, so they don't bother with you. But that doesn't mean that they don't find you attractive. Okay, so pile 5. In general, how do people view you? We have justice reversed. I'm going to get a clarifier for that. So I feel like there's certain people who understand that you've come from something difficult, whether that's because it's part of your story, like maybe you just let it be known that that's what you've come from, or maybe you just give off the energy of somebody who has been in a situation that wasn't great. Maybe people know this because of your background, or maybe they've known you as part of like a couple before, like maybe you were with somebody who wasn't great to you, or maybe even your family. Because justice makes me think that there has been something public here that people understand that you were not always treated well. It could also be the workspace. Maybe in the workspace you were not treated well. And that's the first thing they think of you is like, well, how's my pile 5 going? I feel like you gain a certain amount of pity from people when they first meet you, which is very interesting in general. Like if there was to be a common denominator between the lovers and the haters here, they all have some sort of pity for you. And sometimes the pity is well-intentioned, like, you know, they truly feel sorry for you and wish you well. And then other people just pity you in like the mean way. I know that sounds odd, but there's like good ways and bad ways of pitying people. Okay, so let's get your friends. Yeah, I'm wondering if some of you are just in the public eye a lot. Even if it's just locally, like local to your town. How do your friends view you? Pile 5. We have Seeker of Swords. There's something about you always having like the best gossip or the best tea. There's something about you always having the best communication as well. People love to talk to you. This also reminds me of somebody who's like always on the phone with somebody. Like maybe you're always calling somebody that you are really close to, whether it's a friend or family. They see you as very communicative, especially of very new and or important news or information. This could also be part of like maybe your career is communication, so that could be something important. Your friends see you as very interesting because you always have something to say or some story to tell. How does your family view you? We have the Two of Swords reversed. You may not speak to your family a lot. Maybe you have had to cut off your family. That could be part of the apocalypse card, that big transformation that you had to go through. So you may not speak to your family as much as you would like to. But I feel like you're mostly in no contact with them. Or maybe you don't have a lot of family, so that may explain why you don't really speak to them. For your friends and colleagues, or sorry, your coworkers and colleagues, some of your friends could be your colleagues.
We have the Four of Pentacles. So they see you as holding on to your assets. I feel like your colleagues have really taught you how to work with money, how to invest, and how to hold on to your specific to whatever it is that you own. Maybe I feel like for some of you, you could have like, if you work in like a legal environment, they've taught you how to hold on to something here. They've taught you how to keep your assets. Yeah, they've taught you how to retain something here of yours, or even how to grow your money, not expenses, your money here, pile five. There's also something here about you understanding that having um, peers and colleagues in the right places is also very beneficial and or important. So I feel like you keep in contact with a lot of the people that you've worked with from previous jobs or previous environments. Like you make it a point to keep them within your inner circle, or you're just always like, if you have a question about anything, you always call them as well. Even if you don't work in the same space anymore, you understand the value of having friends in high places, or good friends, good people, because for a lot of you, your colleagues do end up becoming your friends, because I feel like you spend so much time with them, and or you've had to tell your story to them, so they kind of become unexpected friends. That's what I'm getting from that particular card. And then romantically, how do people view you? We have the Ace of Swords. I'm getting another card for this one. Ace of Swords, you're a breath of fresh air. Whenever people date you, they think, I've never been with anybody like pile five. So you're somebody very unique to a lot of people. You may be a lot of people's first something here as well, whether it's like their first, I don't know, either older person of a different cultural background, something like that. Like there's just a breath of fresh air to you, or maybe the first person that is like very much in a particular type of career, because I feel like whatever you do for your career, pile five, if you have one, it's rather interesting and or important. Like it's very unique. People typically don't, like, you may be the one person that they decide to take a chance on, even if you are not their type. There's something about you being people's first something here. And we have the Hierophant. You teach the people that you date a lot of new things. I feel like whether it's like the stories you have to tell or the experience you bestow upon them, you teach them new things. So people are attracted to the fact that you're nothing like the people that they've been with before. I feel like even when people see you go out with new people, it's like, huh. So that like people look at the people you date and they wonder if you have a type. You don't, because you're willing to take a chance on anybody. But it's like you attract different kinds of people. Like you're very open to different types of people here, and they are open to you as well. So it's very interesting here when it comes to romance. I feel like a lot of you are single, but you don't have to be. Maybe you decide to be single, because the Ace of Swords isn't exactly commitment. It's more like, yeah, I'll have fun every now and then. That's what I'm getting. But let's go ahead and clarify these. So in general, how do people view you? We have the Ace of Pentacles. Like I said, you look luxurious. You look like money. Whether you have it or not, there's something about you. You're always dressed to the nines, or you're always dressed really nice. And people would assume because you dress nice that you have a lot of money. You may actually thrift. Like you may wear designer, but it's thrifted designer. So it's not exactly like you may have a lot of money. You just know how to dress well. Let's see how your friends view you. We have the Two of Wands. You're always doing something. You always have plans. You might be somebody with a very restless mind. So people are always, like your friends specifically, are always hearing about your new ideas, any new developments that may be going on. You love to plan. So you may be the person who likes to plan parties or plan outings, vacations, etc. here. Very interesting. Let's see how your family views you. For the few family that you may speak to. Because for some of you, this might be like extended family or even parents or siblings, you know. But for those of you who have family that you speak to, like your own children or even, yeah, you know what? I wonder if you even have a family, pile five. Not saying that you may not have like your found family, or if you have kids, you know, maybe they are your family. But with Ace of Cups reversed here, I feel like you want nothing to do with family, specifically your extended family.
And maybe if you don't have kids, part of the reason you don't have any is because you don't want to give them your baggage, because you know that you didn't have the best family growing up. You don't want your kids to have that either. So maybe you didn't have the best parents and you don't want to end up becoming like that. So maybe some of you have made the choice to just not care about family or not have that be the most important thing here, which is very interesting. Like I said, that solitary card, I feel like a lot of you are a lot more, I don't want to say alone. I don't feel like you're alone. Your friends might be like your family here, or even your colleagues might be like your family. But when it comes to actual family, you're just, it's not something that you focus on too much. And that's okay. I feel like like I said, you're a very independent person. Let's go ahead and see how your friends and colleagues, I keep saying friends and colleagues, how your coworkers, how your colleagues see you. Maybe even your boss here, or your bosses, your superiors. We have 10 of Wands reversed. I feel like you're a bit of a workaholic, and people would not assume this of you because you don't look like somebody who works hard. You're definitely work smart, not hard, but you do work a lot. So you might work smart a lot, or you may take on a lot of endeavors. You may have multiple businesses. You may have more than one job here, or maybe you're always working. I feel like to you, your career is very important, or it could be a career that you just take on a lot. Like it's a career that requires a lot of effort and a lot of skill and a lot of networking as well. Because like I said, you hold on to certain colleagues that you know will be important. So this is very interesting. This could also be clients, I guess, if you don't have colleagues or coworkers. These could be clients that you hold on to because you know that you build a network here and this is how you create a living. And then to clarify, romance and romantic energy here. How do people view you romantically? We have the Seeker of Cups. This came out in another pile. A lot of people have a lot of crushes on you, but they'll never act on it. It was reversed. People assume you're married, or that you're too high maintenance, or that you would just be expensive. So people do get crushes on you. They just don't act on it because they feel like you would be high maintenance, or that you would require somebody above their level. Like a lot of people feel you're out of their league, and quite honestly, I feel like they're right. Like you are probably out of a lot of people's league. Like you require a very specific type of person who gives you a lot of freedom and is also very understanding of you, but also accepts you for all that you are. And I feel like a lot of you have tried to find this, and it's not easy to find it, for you at least, because you require somebody as unique as you. And then I want to get another one. 3 of Pentacles. You might date around a lot in your career, or you may find a lot of dates through your career. Like if it's not people you work with, it could be certain clients who ask you out. I feel like that's how you mostly find people to date. Another way I'm seeing this though, you might be in an open connection. That's not going to be everybody. That's only for those of you who are into this, or people could see you being part of their open connection, which, take it how it resonates. I don't know. That's just something coming in that I know not everybody's going to resonate with. But back of the deck, 4 of Wands. Regardless, there's something about you that you're a very proud person and you love to celebrate your accomplishments and your wins here. You're definitely a very interesting person though. Like if you want to share your story or let me know who you are, let me know in the comments below. But I feel like you really are one of a kind. You truly are one of a kind, and it's hard to come around people like you. So you're very unforgettable, that's for sure. And I feel like I said, you're polarizing. People either love you or hate you, but they cannot deny that. 1, you're very interesting. You're very unique. 2, there's just nobody else like you, pile 5. There is nobody else out there like you. This energy has been very interesting. But let's move on to your closing advice. And we're going to get cards from the Inner Goddess Oracle for my pile 5. What do people think about you, their first impressions? We have the Starborn. This came out in I think it was the previous pile as well. I feel like a lot of people feel you are destined for stardom, or there's something very unique about you. It wouldn't surprise me if you were some sort of celebrity or had like a high profile, even if it's just wherever you live or like in the region you are in, or even online. I'm gonna get another one because I don't like it when my piles all get the same card. I feel like everyone deserves like their own unique set of cards here. We have Black Diamond. Oddly enough, this came out in another pile by itself. So, for those of you who are single, there is somebody here who is going to be like your counterpart and somebody who is going to be on your level. And it's going to be something amazing because I feel like a lot of people never thought that somebody would measure up to your greatness, and this person does. If you're not single, if you are with somebody, this is just confirmation that a lot of people kind of see you through the eyes of your partner. And you can take this as good or bad depending on, how you feel about that. But people definitely see you as part of a pair, or may soon see you as part of a pair. Let's get the Sacred Creator's Destiny card here. A lot of strong Libra energy. Some of you might have Libra rising, or even Libra in the 7th house, because there's an emphasis on relationships and how you are viewed in terms of relationships. We have Lead Your Metamorphosis. So some of you, like I said, you underwent a strong transformation, but you know and understand that transformation is always in movement, like you're always growing. We also have Creator Water. So people would be very surprised to find that you're actually a very emotional person. You have a very deep heart, a very big heart as well. And you're very emotional, even if you don't show it. Let's get your last cards. This is the Enchanted Love Oracle deck, and it's meant to be channeled messages from like a partner or a loved one, but I'm taking this a little bit more platonically here for my pile 5. I don't have time for a relationship right now. So some of you, you're definitely single and you're committed to being single, and that's all you want. Like you don't have time for a relationship, but I'm getting the feeling, honestly, that you might have somebody coming in trying to make things work with you, or somebody offering a little bit something closer to commitment, like something that could work out for you. We also have, I'm so frustrated. I can't understand why we can't be together right now. So for a lot of you, you kind of always want to make things work. There's a little bit of stubborn energy here. Not that it's a bad thing. I feel like you just are very determined to see your goals and accomplishments come through. Like you like to be accomplished. You like to succeed. You like to have you like things to happen here. But there is a little bit of sense of impatience for some of you. We also have, I have mommy daddy issues. So like I said, you don't really keep in contact with your family, and this could be the reason why. Maybe you're just not close with your parents, or your parents have been, I feel like there's a long story there, but if you know, you know. If you know, you know. And then the last one for my pile 5. Water sign, Cancer, Scorpio, Pisces. Yeah, there's a lot of water within your chart. So you could be a Cancer, Scorpio, or a Pisces, or have those very strongly within your chart. If not, you could just be a very emotional person. Like you're very nostalgic and emotional. And you'd be surprised at the amount of water signs, even though they're seen as really valuing family. I know a lot of water signs who tend to have difficult relationships with their family, maybe because they at one point put a lot of emphasis on them, that they ended up being taken advantage of or betrayed or something along those lines by their own families, and that's why they have to keep a distance. So take that only if it resonates. Last thing is going to be the runes to see what else comes through for you. Pile 5, how you are being viewed. So we have Wunjo. This is joy. So you definitely put a lot of emphasis on joyfulness. Maybe people find you to be very joyful or funny or vivacious as well. We have Ewas. This is trust. So there's something here about earning your trust is very difficult. You don't give your trust away too easily or too freely. And then this is, how do you pronounce it? This is Daga's home. So your home is your sanctuary. There's something about you and your home, whether that's your home country, your hometown, or even just quite literally your house, the space where you live, that is very important to you. It is your sanctuary, and this is where people are more than likely to find you, as opposed to,
out on the town where they assume you may be. But this is where I leave it, pile 5. Thank you so much for letting me read for you. If you feel like doing so, you can like, comment, and subscribe, and I will see you in the next reading. Take care.